Defensive Player of the Month. This is the second time Wemby has received the award since its inception during the 24-25 season. NBA trade deadline is coming up on Thursday. The first big piece just got moved. The Memphis Grizzlies traded star forward Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Utah Jazz. They'll get 3 future first-round picks and players.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Live from AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row in San Francisco with coverage leading up to Sunday's big game. It's The Blitz with Jason Minix and Joe Reinagel on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We are back on a Tuesday here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. So happy you decided to stop by and spend some time with us. I'm Joe Reinagel and Jason Minix. Well, he's here somewhere, although we got to go west. He is in San Francisco, California. That's where he is. Jason, what's going on, man? Did they not pay the electric bill or what? What's happening?
Well, there's, I don't know, maybe double the people in this convention center space than yesterday. Trying to multitask. The Wi-Fi is not cooperating as well today as it was yesterday, and it's only going to get worse because the buzz, and you know what it's like, Joe, on Super Bowl Radio Row. Monday's kind of the move-in day, and today it is crowded, and tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, it will be insane. Although I think I'm up and running now if Pledge lets me in. And we'll be on the stream there on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel.
Absolutely, and we are there, and a lot of folks already chiming in. Good afternoon, fellas, and stuff like that. Big lineup coming up for you here from Radio Row there in San Francisco. Shawne Merriman, Brian Jones, Jason Fitz, John Riggins is going to join us. Charean Williams will join us as she does every Tuesday. And then a girl that is multi-talented, Minix, yes. Bonnie Jill Laflin will join us coming up at 5 o'clock today. And looking forward to that because this is a girl that barbecues. She's a cheerleader. Yep. She does all kinds of stuff, which kind of sounds like the perfect woman.
Bonnie Jill is a former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. She's also a former San Francisco 49ers cheerleader. She does all kinds of different TV shows, and she's hosting a barbecue cook-off with a bunch of Hall of Famers. And it was like, all right, do you know anything about barbecue? Because, we'll talk smoked meats with you. And
yes, we will.
Apparently, she hosts a barbecue show on CMT or something. So, yeah, we'll talk to Bonnie Jill coming up at 5 o'clock.
Jam-packed show coming up for you, no doubt about it. And already the NBA trade deadline minutes coming up on Thursday. The first big block to fall, if you will. Jaren Jackson Jr. Gets traded from Memphis to Utah. And let me tell you something. I just looked at that Utah lineup, that team that they've got right now. They're going to be tough the remainder of the season.
Well, and the idea of that, are they going to be buyers or sellers? And clearly they are in the buying market. So, and the Grizzlies are selling. And so, all right, Jaren Jackson is gone. 3 others off to Utah. Does make you wonder about Ja Morant and what could happen with him.
Nobody wants
Grizzlies are selling off. And, well, that's it. Who wants them? And then, of course, this morning, all the news about the Clippers and what could be their future, which is kind of leading up to, are we going to have one of those crazy explosive trade deadlines where there's a lot of things happening as opposed to just a lot of talk, like the fact that deals are getting pulled today and not just to talk 2 days before the deadline is a little surprising.
Well, it is, but, that's a huge deal, obviously, between Memphis and Utah. It certainly makes Utah a much better basketball team to get a talent like Jaren Jackson Jr. Minnesota has traded away a couple of pieces, including Mike Conley. And the theory there, Jason, is that they're trying to clear some salary space, maybe to bring in a guy by the name of Giannis.
Well, that's, and that would be the biggest domino to fall. And really you look at, Giannis, obviously, wherever he goes, if he does go, and then this James Harden story, and it's like, all right, what taker is there for James Harden at this point for the value that he is going to want. But also, what the hell's wrong with the Clippers? I think this trade deadline is going to be interesting. And then, last 24, 48 hours, pretty quiet on the Spurs front, which makes me wonder if something is in the works.
Well, it could very well be because, keep in mind, we still have about 48 hours before the trade deadline is the deadline. So there's still a lot of things that could happen before now and then. But interesting that Jaren Jackson Jr. gone. Memphis, obviously, in a complete rebuilding situation right now. They're trying to get rid of Ja Morant. But from everything I've read, Jason, nobody wants the guy. And that just is, it's kind of heartbreaking in a way. He's such a talent, but he's gotten into so much trouble off the court that it's hurt his stock for sure.
Well, and again, when you look at the salary that's going to go along with them, but it's weird. There's always going to be a coach, always going to be a GM and organization that's going to say, you know what, we can make it work here. We're the right environment for this guy because he is that talented, and fans would love it. So might it be to a team trying to get over the hump for a championship? Probably not. But a team that's trying to become relevant again and excite their fan base, you add in a Ja Morant, and all of a sudden that franchise, at least for the short term, will have that shot in the arm. Somebody will take him if the deal is right. How greedy is Memphis going to be becomes the question.
Well, that is the question. They may have no choice but to not be greedy if they want to get rid of him. That's for sure. The other piece of news from the NBA was good for San Antonio. If you heard on SportsCenter, Victor Wembanyama has been named the Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month. And for the month of January, obviously. Second time he's won that award. And I'll be honest with you, I had to refresh my memory. That award or that honor, whatever you want to call it, has only been in existence since the 24-25 season. Well,
you look at that and what I'm curious of, he could win that thing all the time. Can he win Defensive Player of the Year? And that's going to be how many more games does he play? He's getting very close to that minimum games that played because of some of his injuries, because I think that's what's more important to Vic is Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Month, cool. Print it out, put it on your fridge, good to go, something to celebrate, and the dude has earned it. But the minimum games that he has to play to qualify for postseason awards, which could also impact money down the road. That's what I'm more worried about is, will he play the rest of the games or the majority of the games to stay eligible for that?
Well, he looks healthy, and even though teams are trying to bang him around, he looks like he's handling it pretty well. So hopefully, knock on wood, that he'll be okay from here on out and won't miss many more games. It's going to be interesting. And I can't help but notice, Jason, you're exactly right. The noise coming from behind you today, just the crowd noise, is so much louder than it was yesterday. Everybody moving in to their tables today.
Well, if you think about the area where we are at behind me yesterday, all those tables were empty. All those people kind of showed up late yesterday. As we were leaving here, at 4:30, 5 o'clock California time, you could see a lot of the people arriving and starting to set up their sets. Right now, you look around, and I'm not seeing any open tables within my visual where I can see, where yesterday there was a bunch of empty ones. So you could see a lot of people showed up yesterday, started their shows today. The amount of guests and the overall people here has literally doubled from yesterday. And probably hard to walk around in some areas. I don't know. You won't be able to see that behind me, but right in front of me is the main walkway, and it's pretty crowded. Tomorrow it might be even more difficult to move around, and then Thursday is kind of the big day, and then of course you get into Friday.
Come on, Minix. The Pro Bowl's tonight. Let's go. That's why everybody showed up for today. They want to see the Pro Bowl. They want to see Shawne represent the AFC. And we're going to talk about it coming up next segment. But Shedeur Sanders, number one, a Pro Bowler, and Justin Fields turning down an invitation to be a Pro Bowler tells you all you need to know about the state of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. I know it's here, and we'll get into it. But it is kind of interesting when you look at and you think about Super Bowl City, normally you get there and that's all everybody is talking about, right? I've had 2 Uber drivers that were aware that the Super Bowl is going on. When you're driving downtown, you don't see the signage. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff at the airport. I was in a bar last night, a great little dive bar, and the dude in there was like, Super Bowl's in San Francisco?
Oh, man.
And he was like, yeah, I'm a Bills fan. When they didn't make it, I quit watching football. And I was like, well, yeah, but you know where the Super Bowl is? And he was like, no, I had no idea that the Super Bowl was in San Francisco. It is very strange in that regard.
Well, no doubt about it. Now, you brought up the bar you were in, and I got a picture. I think it was from your daughter. Some dude passed out right next to you. Was that Thompson?
No, that was not Rob Thompson. That was the King of England, Will Gavin.
Oh,
that was our annual. We're at the bar, and Will Gavin will pass out photo, which is why she sent it. If you remember last year in Bourbon Street, he was literally face down in the gutter. But we had an interesting night last night. Real quick, went and had a fabulous dinner at this Italian restaurant. All garlicky. It was all great until dessert. They had this garlic ice cream dessert that was disgusting.
Yes.
Rob ate it. He said he kind of liked it. But everything was so good, it was like, all right, well, let's try it. Why not? And it was awful. Imagine taking a can of jarlic, you know, that big old can of garlic you can get, so we call it jarlic, and just getting a spoonful of that, but it's really cold. It was gross. That was a bad idea. But when you look at it and you think about, all right, so we're in this area called North Beach, and we went and we found a bar over there. It's about, I don't know, 8:30, something like that. We're in a bar just having a nice casual drink, cool, and then a fight breaks out inside this bar. And now we're locked in the bar. So apparently the bartender got mad at some dude and beat the crap out of him. And then the guy wouldn't leave, so they closed the door, and now we can't go anywhere. And we're just like, all right, let's just hope nobody pulls out a gun. This is kind of random. And it was just the bartender and this dude, and he literally beat the crap out of him. It was interesting. So, like, all right, as soon as we could leave, we got an Uber and we left. It's about 10 o'clock. Rob's like, I'm going home. Well, I'm not ready to go home. So we drop Rob off at the house, and then we're in this area, and we go to a bar close to where we live. And then the Brits call and like, all right, they're done with NFL opening night, which seemed like it was quite a disaster and underwhelming. And so we met up at the bar, and about, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, Will Gavin is sleeping at the at the table.
I didn't even recognize him, but well, he's 2 for 2 at least. The last 2 years.
I mean, but, you know, Will and I go way back. I would say that typically happens with Will. Now, granted, he was like, oh, the jet lag is catching up to him and all this kind of stuff. Everybody else in his crew was just fine. But, you know, Will passed out at a bar with us is a Super Bowl tradition.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that tradition was upheld last night. Good for him. Oh, my goodness, that guy is quite the character, no doubt about it. The New England Patriots taking on Seattle there coming up on Sunday, and the Patriots already have 2 losses before they even play the game. We talk about Bill Belichick not getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and now Robert Kraft apparently will not be voted in to the class of 26. We're talking about that. We're also talking about DeMarcus Lawrence, who's very happy to be at a Super Bowl that he knew he couldn't get to if he stayed in Dallas. We're talking about it all as we continue our Radio Row coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Jason Minix in San Francisco. I'm Joe Reinagle back home in San Antonio. This is The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the big game in Silicon Valley. And the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all the pregame excitement leading up to the superb hour. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
What's wrong, Cupid?
Lost my mojo. These arrows just don't work like they used to. The facts are people fall in love thanks to Connecticut, not poor old Cupid.
You don't say.
Oh, absolutely. Look over there. She's got silky smooth hair thanks to a Connecticut water softener. He's got softer skin and cleaner clothes, and now they're all lovey-dovey. Makes me sick.
Don't feel bad, Cupid. You still have your bow and arrow.
I know a Connecticut runs on kinetic energy like my bow and arrow. There's no computer to break. A Connecticut has it all.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country.
You know, you're right. I love my Connecticut too. My diaper has never looked so white. And my wings, oh, I look good.
Cupid, you can always come to work for me, but you're going to have to wear pants.
ConnecticutSA.com.
License number 38961.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Charlie's battery is struggling to start. Not ideal before the tailgate, so he goes to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner tests his battery for free. Looks like he needs a new one, so he gets a Duralast battery.
Have fun and stay warm.
And he makes it to the tailgate early enough to get his favorite spot. Free battery testing and charging. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Let's go!
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
The big game is coming up. It is this Sunday as we get ready for it. Just a few days away from seeing New England and Seattle in the Super Bowl. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. Jason Minix is out in San Francisco, and we're so happy that all of you are here to spend your Tuesday with us. And Minix, I'm going to tell you what, I don't know if it means anything for New England, but they're 0 for 2 when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
You know, it is so bizarre that both Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft didn't make it, and it's leaked out ahead of time. And part of it is, all right, because when this class is announced, if it is a surprise by the time we get around to it, there won't be the storylines of who got snubbed and more maybe of who gets in. But if the 5 that the Hall of Fame voters could agree on, the 3 seniors, the contributor, which was Robert Kraft, or the coach, which was Bill Belichick, now you got those 3 players. Whichever one gets in is going to have that hanging over his head. Like, you got in instead of Robert Kraft. You got in instead of Bill Belichick. It is, for them, I would imagine a little bit disappointing, because instead of complete celebration, it is going to be a lot of questions about, really? You? I don't know that, the Patriots, do they use that as a little bit of a rally cry? But it is kind of odd that we find out both. And I go back to even Robert Kraft, when he made his statement about Bill Belichick not getting in. Now you can only assume he also knew he too was not getting in. But with the NDA that they have to sign, he still put out that statement. And the way I read that statement is like, yeah, that dude knows he's getting in instead of Bill. That's kind of interesting. Now we find out neither one of them are getting in.
Neither one. It's going to be interesting to see who actually does get in ahead of those 2 guys. Now, look, I don't know if I can really make a case for Robert Kraft. I know he's an owner of a team that's got a bazillion Super Bowl rings. I get all of that. But I don't know. When I look at Robert Kraft, and I think he's done a lot for the NFL in a lot of ways, but he's not Jerry Jones. And when I say that, I think Jerry Jones, you can make a good case for him being in the Hall of Fame. Robert Kraft, I'm not sure that I could really sell that to anybody.
I would disagree with you a little bit. I think when you look at the contributor standpoint, the Patriots and their rings are one thing, but he and Jerry Jones, too, working on the television rights committee where they got all these new TV deals. I think Robert Kraft is, close to, if not equal to, Jerry Jones in those regards of getting everything done for the NFL. It's more than just the Super Bowl rings. You look at his initial investment, the committees that he's been on, some of the things that he has been the chairman of. And if you read about him today, you're like, man, this dude has done more for the league than you realize. And from the contributor standpoint, again, you go with, can you tell the story of the NFL without this person? Now, does that mean he gets in on the first try or whatever the case is? Not always. But at the same time, to have both of those guys on the ballot together, did they split enough votes to where neither one of them got in? Is that a scenario that is plausible? I know we'll talk about it with Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk, who is a Hall of Fame voter, who did say last week she voted for Bill Belichick. What's the talk now? It's just, it's weird when you look at this committee, the Hall of Fame voters, and the 2 that we know aren't getting in at this point, and a lot of people questioning those 50 voters.
Without a doubt. Now, on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page, Jason, Gilbert says Kraft has done a lot for massage parlors.
Well, he has.
So maybe if there's a massage parlor Hall of Fame, Robert Kraft gets in there. I think he'll go in eventually. Owners, I don't know. It's a players' league, and I understand the contributing part of it, but I don't know. I'm not going to lose much sleep over Robert Kraft not getting in the Hall of Fame in this particular time around. I think he will. The Bill Belichick, you know my feelings on that, man. It was just a travesty and a black eye to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And again, if the 50 voters are holding scandal against Belichick and or Robert Kraft, if they say that, I will have respect for them. I can disagree with them because the Hall of Fame voters are supposed to just look at what's going on the field. Outside stuff isn't supposed to factor in. But if they want to hold Spygate, and again, Robert Kraft owns the team, so ultimately he's responsible, or Deflategate, or Massage Parlor Gate. If they're holding that against them and going to make them wait a year, if they say that, you can agree to disagree, but at least somebody would say, yeah, I couldn't vote for the guy because he did bring some negative press to the NFL for a good period of time.
And I wish they had the stones to say that, or
yep.
In the case of a lady,
sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I got you. Yeah.
Hey, DeMarcus Lawrence, and I don't know what happened last night. And I heard it was kind of boring in the media availability last night, or whatever they call that opening ceremonies. They're just kind of dull, but those things typically are, right? But there were a lot of questions asked. One of the questions was the Seahawks defensive lineman DeMarcus Lawrence. He's in his first Super Bowl. He's doing it with the Seattle Seahawks, and obviously you remember him saying when he got traded to Seattle that he was never going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. So he was pretty happy he was getting out of there.
Right, man. It's surreal, man. It's a dream come true. I'm just staying in the moment, trying to soak everything in, try to answer as many questions as I can, deal with this side of it. But, just it's a testament to, just staying focused, staying into what you truly believe in. And, I believe in the game of football, I believe in my technique and the way I play. And, I finally made it here.
Finally made it here. He is here. And obviously you would think they got a pretty good shot at taking home a ring from San Francisco. So congratulations to DeMarcus Lawrence. And the second DeMarcus, Jason, to leave Dallas. One of them won a Super Bowl, DeMarcus Ware with Denver. Will Lawrence be the next?
Well, he will be because Seattle, I think, is going to win on a Sunday. So we'll go with that. And, yeah, so if your name is DeMarcus and you play for the Cowboys, you need to leave. And in 1 year, you get right to the Super Bowl. I mean, once is one thing. Two is, well, that's a trend. It is interesting. In opening night last night, we did not go. We would not have made it. There were some people that did not take the media bus that left at 3 o'clock San Francisco tonight, which is why we couldn't go. We're on the air until 4. It was an hour and a half to 2 hours to get there. And opening night, I've been to them at baseball stadiums, at football stadiums, at arenas. They did that last night at the San Jose Convention Center. Normally, it's a fan event. And either not a lot of people showed up or they couldn't let a whole lot of people in. But we heard it was just kind of a disaster. And like Calvin Watkins from the Dallas Morning News was trying to press DeMarcus Lawrence on his comments about leaving Dallas and getting to the Super Bowl. And in the middle of D-Law answering the question, somebody else was had an iPad with photos that he was trying to show. Can you name your teammates? And totally derailed Calvin's serious questions, which is why a lot of the media does it. It's just, hard to get any real good content out of that thing.
I saw a clip today, Jason, where a reporter asked Mike Vrabel if this was a must-win game. And, Vrabel was very nice, and he answered the question without blowing the guy up. But, I mean, no, it's not. We can lose this and we'll be okay. I mean, just idiotic stuff.
I mean, it truly is a must-win game. There was also, because he said on one of the Barstool podcasts, that he would cut his manhood off to win a Super Bowl. And, he's like, I've been married 20 years. I could live without it to get another Super Bowl ring. So apparently a lot of his players were asked about any possible upcoming surgical procedures for Coach Vrabel.
Well, they should have asked his wife. That would have been the person to ask, that's for sure. And, Pledge just put up on our board here, Jason. Can you imagine Pop having to deal with that kind of a media circus and some of those dumb questions? I can't even imagine what he would respond to and how. It's a good thing that the NBA doesn't do a media circus like the NFL does when it comes to the Super Bowl. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
Media Day is more about the entertainment shows and that sort of thing, as opposed to getting reporters asking questions to work on their various stories. Now, there's other media availability for the teams, and that's where guys like Calvin Watkins, who's trying to actually do something legit, he won't get railroaded by goofiness.
That's true. He can ask his question at some point in time a little bit later. Hey, coming up next, a good friend of the show. He's been on the show several times. Shawne Merriman, great football player back in the day with the San Diego Chargers. He's going to join us next as we continue our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage live from San Francisco. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, football's biggest game right around the corner. You want to get in on all the action, you can with Underdog in Texas. Now, being out here in San Francisco, so much talk about all the different variations of what we're going to see on Sunday. And you know you want your chance to make your picks and win money. We'll do that on Underdog. And if you haven't signed up yet, cool, because new customers score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. So you're going to get some free money there when you do that. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just head over to the app, make your picks on if a player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, that sort of thing. I always like to look at what the kicking points are. And, you know, if a receiver has some rushing yards, what's that number? Would you want to go higher or lower? Especially you look at a guy like Rashid Shaheed, and on an end around, you know, that's a number that I would always look at. Plus, they got different promos, new promos dropping daily in the Underdog app. So if you like making picks and winning money, Underdog is the place for you to be this Sunday for the big game. Download the Underdog app today. Use promo code STAR to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code STAR at Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 8 and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Big Game Giveaway. Predict the exact score of the big game in Santa Clara, California, and you could score $50,000. Make your predictions now at sasportstar.com. The 50K Big Game Giveaway, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Score big with Dietz Tractor in Seguin and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. It's Pork Rind Appreciation Day at PorkRinds.com. Hall of Famer Devin Hester and PorkRinds.com are lining up to be the heroes for the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. Pork rinds are the MVP of the snack aisle. Low-carb, gluten-free, and packed with protein. Don't settle for ordinary on game day. Visit PorkRinds.com to enter for a chance to win a 2027 Big Game Travel Package and a year's supply of rinds. Support a great cause and find your favorite rinds at PorkRinds.com. Pork Rind Appreciation Day, the crunchiest day in football.
Free products and services are the best. They're next to non-existent, though. But the next best thing does exist. Barter. Alamo Barter. Right here in San Antonio, if you have a business and provide a product or service, you can barter with hundreds of other businesses that are already members. From trips to a medical visit, restaurants, and home services, Alamo Barter is a great way for you to trade out your skills with others. Call Alamo Barter or visit them online at alamobarter.com. alamobarter.com.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Monday, March 30th at the Golf Club of Texas. Get your slot now. $150 per person or $500 per foursome. The Spring Golf Classic, benefiting fitting animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, is presented by Flight by Yingling, sponsored in part by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, and Ancira.com. The Spring Golf Classic, Monday, March 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Back here on the Blitz, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Out in San Francisco, Jason Minix is there on Radio Row for our big game coverage, thanks to AA Best Bail Bonds. And Jason, you got a special guest there with you.
Yeah, absolutely. A guy we get to talk to once a year at Super Bowl, but a lot of times throughout the year on the phone with his lights out. Shawne Merriman joining us here on the Blitz, and I know you're doing laps all day today, man. How's your day?
It's good, man. I was trying to figure out how many of these radio rows I've been to over the years, but I've seen the change, right, in the media, and then you see a lot of the old guys I played with or played against. Everybody come here once a year. But then you get a chance to meet the younger guys who just got drafted in the last couple of years, who you didn't get a chance to meet. So they come up to me and like, "Oh man, I was a big fan of you when I was in high school and I was a kid." And I'm like, "I'm getting old. I'm getting old." So but it's been great. It's been great.
But you know, Shawne, just the fact that they know who you are, they know how you played, they know the impact on the game that you had, man, that's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, you know what, man, I appreciate that more than anything because, you know, I was a fan of players when I grew up, right? So when I saw them in person, whether they played in my era or not, I watched them growing up. And so to be looked at in that kind of way, it's been cool. And also, too, the game has changed, right? It's a different style of play now, but for the younger guys still to appreciate that has been really cool.
Shawne Merriman joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Obviously, you look like you could still play. We talk about that every year. You do such a great job staying in shape. But in this game, you look at the New England defense is going to be the key against slowing down that Seattle offense. Can they?
I think they can early on. But somebody's going to break free on the offense side of the ball. More than likely, I believe it's going to be Seattle first. Now, once the game starts to get, 7 points, 10-plus points, does the Patriots have enough to come back from it? And my answer to that is no. I don't think they have enough on the offensive side to have a shootout, because the Rams just got out of – Seattle just got out of a shootout with the Rams. They're putting up points. So the Patriots got to match it, and I don't think they're going to have enough to do that, especially in the second half of the game.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, Shawne, but I've got to ask you this because it kind of bugs me. I'll be honest with you. Everybody talking about the Patriots and their so-called soft schedule to get here to the Super Bowl. As a former player, how do you take something like that?
That noise is always coming from the outside in, because I can tell you, being in the NFL, there's nobody we look on the schedule like, oh, this is soft. This is a guaranteed win this week. We don't look at it like that. I think that the fans and the people around the game start looking at the numbers like, oh, okay, this team isn't statistically good or their record isn't that good. But we never had the mentality that, oh, okay, we got them on the schedule. That's a guaranteed win. That type of conversation just doesn't happen in the locker room.
It's interesting because I heard somebody, and I like the way they phrased it, because you could look at their schedule and the quarterbacks that they played in the teams with coaches that got fired, but they're still NFL dudes. And it's not like an SEC team taking on a team from the Sun Belt in September.
Right.
I mean, they're still NFL teams. And, do you apologize for who's in front of you, or do you just go win the games and they're playing on the last Sunday of the season?
Yeah, you go out and win the game. And let me tell you, if you even start to have that mentality in the NFL, that's when you lose games. Some teams rolling in there without much to lose, or they've been already written off in the media. Now the coach is using that for bulletin board material. You got these guys all hyped up. They've been getting their butt kicks for the last 3-4 weeks, and this whole new team show up after, and you're like, hold on, but that's not the team we watched on film. And so that's why you can't take anybody as a joke or lightly.
Shawne, when you look at it, and I want to ask you about Sam Darnold. The guy over the last 2 years, he's won 28 games. He's in the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. When you see a guy like that who really struggled when he first got in the league, but has found his way now, to me, it's a feel-good story. How do you feel about it?
You know what? It is. And this is why I would say coaching matters. Because it was nothing about his playing ability. It was the coaching or situation of front office. So there were other factors in why guys just don't get good. They just don't. And they got to the NFL for a reason. They were either high draft pick or got off the board by somebody. So somebody's seen something in this player that they thought was special. So guys just don't, unless they have some catastrophic injury or something that they have happened to them and they never bounce back to who they once were. If it's not injury related, I don't believe the guys just all of a sudden this star. They had great college careers. They look good in the combine, work out well, and all of a sudden they get in the NFL and they can't play no more. I just don't believe that. So I look at it, look at the Jets and look at all the people that let him walk in and out the door. Look at those teams. Look at those coaching staffs, the situation and position he was put in at those times. I look at that first before I look at, is this guy good or not?
So it's more about the organization failing the player as opposed to the player failing the organization, especially when you're talking quarterbacks. We've talked a lot of Cowboys with you, and in general, Eberflus last year is the defensive coordinator, and that defense was awful. Now they've hired Christian Parker. Really good at secondary, his first time as a coordinator. What impact do you think he can make as the new Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator?
I think, for Christian Parker coming in there, he got to establish a mentality, because I don't care if you have stars and Micah's gone and, Lawrence is gone. You can miss a couple of your big name players, but that doesn't stop the physicality of and the mentality your defense carries, even if they aren't as talented. So day one, you got to come in there and say, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to attack. We're going to tackle. You come in with that mindset, you can start to get guys to buy in that these average players or maybe above average players, you can start getting them to play to another standard. You have to establish a mentality because that's the quickest thing to change. You can't change if a guy can't bend the corner or if he can't hold up on a run as well. But if he has a mentality like, hey, I may not be that great, at run defense, but I'm going to go and have the mentality to play it. And you had guys like that too that wasn't great players, but they were rotational players that came and they got the job done when they needed to, and that was because we established a mentality.
Shawne, did you have a coach or two, and number one, you don't have to mention any names, that you really respected and really wanted to go play hard for, and maybe one that not so much? Was it ever like that for you?
No, because I woke up out of bed pissed off every morning. I wanted to go hurt somebody. That's the reason why I play football. But some guys you need to try to get more out of them. And some of them you got to sometimes you can say anything you want to me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. And then sometimes they will say something just to make an example. Say, hey, we're going to say something to Shawne. We can say something to anybody. So nobody's off limits. Some guys you can't kick around as much. You got to hold their head up, hold their hand a little bit to get the most out of them. But that's what's good about coaches. When a coach realizes what type of player he's dealing with and you can get the best out of him, that always makes the best coaches.
I hear as we visit with Shawne Merriman here on Radio Row in San Francisco, your mentality, you wake up pissed off, you want to go hurt somebody. That level of professionalism. And we talked to a lot of players that are like that, but not everybody in the locker room is that way. So as a teammate, how do you get the most out of your teammate who might not be as motivated as you are to be successful?
I call that bringing them along. You got to bring them along. And I don't know if you guys ever been in a fight out here anywhere, and the guy, got 4 guys, 3 of them want to fight, and the other one like, oh man, I don't know. You're going to fight today, right? Whether you like it or not. And I don't care how you do, but you're going to fight. And that's the mentality you have to have when you have some teammates that are not ready to go. And I broke down the huddle before every game, and you can kind of look around and see which guys are a little timid, maybe heads not in the game completely, and those guys I go in and get in their face a little bit more, and you got to bring them along.
Shawne, you bring up an interesting point there. We talk about coaches and changing cultures and that kind of stuff, but isn't it veteran players like yourself, when you were a veteran and you saw a guy down, you go and get in his face, does that provide more motivation than, say, a coach doing it?
Yeah, I mean, historically, look at some of the best teams. The players ran the team. It only got to the coaches when the players couldn't handle it. But if a guy was late or if he was jogging to the ball or he's constantly, not doing what he's supposed to do, you got one of those veterans say, hey, we're going to get this together or we're going to make some moves. And they ain't getting to the coaches. And the best teams, the coaches, the players handled everything in-house. It only got to the coaches when it was just too out of hand for the players to deal with. And normally by the time it got to the coaches, that player was gone. Because if we couldn't handle it in the locker room, then he doesn't need to be on the team because you got enough people around that's trying to get him on the same page. And if he doesn't want to, you got to go.
Shawne Merriman joining us here on the Blitz. Since your playing days, and we talk about your lights out fights that you're doing. The other night there was a fight, boxing. Dude lost his hair. He had his hair got knocked off. Yeah. His toupee. How do you incorporate that into your fights? Do we have a hair battle? Can somebody knock the hair off of an opponent?
Listen, I got to call the fight if a guy hair come up because the problem is you got family and friends there. Like, they got to leave out with you. So you got to save yourself embarrassment, man. Let me tell it to stop the fight, man. Somebody throwing that towel. You can't. Toupee's got to stay on in my league.
Yeah, throw in the toupee instead of the towel.
That's it.
Right? I think there could be something there, man.
I'm getting ideas. I can get creative now.
Shawne, great seeing you, man.
Good seeing you as well.
Good stuff.
Appreciate it, Shawne.
Merriman joining us here on the Blitz here on Super Bowl at Radio Row here in San Francisco. That dude losing his hair was one of the funniest damn things. I don't know how he did the post-fight interview. I'd have left.
I don't know.
Shawne, I would have left.
Dude, I don't know how he did it either. And apparently, I was reading a story where that thing kind of flew off into the crowd and it landed in some lady's lap. And can you imagine that fur thing just flying in your lap? What the hell are you going to do with that thing?
Well, I mean, you catch a fly ball and you got to keep it.
Dude, you get to keep the toupee?
Well, I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind piece of sports memorabilia that might be, you know, as valuable as like the Barry Bonds, you know, record-setting home run ball.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't think I wouldn't want to touch that thing. It's, you know, I guess, and we're fortunate. No toupees here, although a lot of people accuse me of it. But, I mean, is that like super glue? Or I guess the glue just wasn't strong enough.
I have no idea how those work. But yeah, it's either the glue didn't work, didn't stick, too hot, too sweaty. Whoever his hairpiece guy is not the endorsement, because it didn't hold up to anything.
Well, and I don't think it was that hard of a punch. It's just kind of the way his head went back. But I thought it was funny as hell. And who knew that boxers wore toupees? I had no idea that boxers wore toupees. But I guess you learn something new every day. And I tell you what, if you saw that fight, that probably added a lot to it. It's like, you're not talking about the fight. You're talking about his fur flying off his head.
Well, that's it. I mean, the idea, you know, I don't know who had, I mean, there are some people you can look at and you go, all right, that ain't real. His looked real until it didn't. And it didn't when it came off, right? But if you're a fighter now and you're wearing a toupee, you're going to have second thoughts about having that public embarrassment. I mean, at that point, you just shave it and say, this is the new look that I'm going with, as opposed to risk going through what that dude went through, losing his hair the way he did.
Well, maybe that dude had a date after the match, thought he was going to win, and you know, go impress the ladies after that. I don't know. Breaking news here, Jason. From Sham Sharani, obviously the trade deadline, a lot of activity today. The Chicago Bulls are trading center Nikola Vucevic and a second-round pick to the Celtics for Anthony Simmons and a second-round pick. So the trades are starting to fly in the NBA. That's for sure. Big deal that the Bulls trading their center, Vucevic, and I don't know. Interesting. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I think the next couple of days are going to be active in the NBA.
I agree, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, 48 hours before the deadline, you hear a lot of talk, but deals aren't necessarily made until the deadline. The fact that some of these are getting done early makes me wonder, do the GMs know some bigger stuff that will happen and they're trying to get ahead of it? Or are they making some moves now that will also correlate into other moves later in the week? It'll be interesting to see, but I'm with you. 2 trades on a Tuesday and the deadline is on Thursday tells me those GMs know there's a lot of things that are cooking right now that are probably going to come through.
Well, I think so, and you wonder if some of the trades today, not necessarily Utah, I think with Jaren Jackson Jr., they're happy with what they got there. But some of these other moves that have been made, Minnesota getting rid of Mike Conley just to dump some salary, maybe to go after a bigger fish. And that could be just setting up what is yet to come in the NBA.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And again, you look at you know, all eyes on Milwaukee. And really with the Clippers and James Harden, you know, would be the 2 biggest names that are on the block, if you will. So it will be interesting to see ultimately how it plays out. But I keep looking for any kind of Spurs nuggets out there. And the fact that we're not seeing any makes me wonder if something is cooking. And again, it's that old school Spurs mentality. If you read about it, you hear about it, then you probably realize that isn't going to happen, because, you know, stuff doesn't go through when the Spurs are rumored, right? It's out of left field, and when you don't hear about it is when it seems to really come through for the San Antonio Spurs.
You know, it's going to be interesting because obviously Jeremy Sohan is on the block. I don't know who else might be when it comes to the silver and black, but maybe they're involved in a multi-team trade and helping a Minnesota type land a Giannis. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. That's for sure. But I just don't see Jeremy Sohan staying here. Even if it's just here's Jeremy, give us a second round pick. I hate to say that, but I just don't think he's in the plans moving forward.
He's not in the plans moving forward, and you would hope that you could get more than a second round pick for him, considering he was a high first round draft pick. But at this point, he's been on the block for a while. I don't know what value he has. It will be interesting to see what Brian Wright can get for him, but it also feels like they're trying to do him more of a solid by moving him because he's not happy with his role here, and he has no future in San Antonio, and the Spurs are typically good in that way. It ain't going to work out here. We're going to send you somewhere else where you might be able to flourish, and whatever they get in return is going to be satisfactory for the Spurs. It's more about getting rid of a guy, for lack of a better words, than it is what you're getting in return.
Yeah, and I think that is going to happen. And again, we need to watch the Chicago Bulls. Pledge just put up something that the Rockets and the Bulls in final stages of a trade that would send Kobe White to Houston. So the Bulls now starting to get rid of some players, get rid of some salary. Are they up to something? It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 48 hours or so. That is for sure. But we're going to go back out to San Francisco to Radio Row because our good friend Brian Jones is going to join us coming up next. Always good to talk to Brian Jones with CBS Sports and hear what he has to say about a variety of topics as we continue our big game coverage, courtesy of AA Best Bail Bonds, powered by Smoky Moe's Texas Barbecue and Southern Recipe pork rinds. It is a lot of fun. Things heating up out there in San Francisco. We'll get back to it when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Moe's Barbecue and Southern Recipe pork rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Riding 281 with The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. If you're tired of pain slowing you down from a recent injury or something that's been nagging you for years, we can help. At Arasti, we've earned the trust of over 8,000 physicians by delivering fast, lasting pain relief without painkillers or surgery. Our hands-on approach targets the root cause of pain, and most patients see results in just one visit. No referral needed, and it's covered by most insurance plans. So don't wait. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti. We fix pain fast.
Hey, the big game is almost here, but every game is big when you play Prize Picks because it's so fun to be right. And when the big game comes around, I'm talking 2,000 times your money. But you got to remember something. That's the code Alamo. With $5, you can get $50 in free play when you go download the Prize Picks app. But when the big game hits, the specials are here, and we've got them. And I love Prize Picks because if my guy is winning, I can cash out early. That's one of the best things about Prize Picks is they take care of you from beginning to end. Prize Picks offers 2,000 times your cash. I've heard all different numbers, not 2,000 from other places. So when it comes down to the big game, and it could be that big game or any big game, Prize Picks makes it a big game. Download the app, use the code Alamo, and use some big free money to play the big game. Prize Picks, let me tell you how good it feels, because it feels so good to be right.
All Americans should do what they can to prepare for the future. Donald Trump Jr. here with an important message. More and more Americans are looking for ways to diversify their hard-earned money, and gold is the perfect solution. For example, a gold IRA from my trusted friends at the Birch Gold Group lets you diversify your IRA or 401k into physical gold with zero taxes and zero penalties. You stay in control with a tangible asset that's held value for thousands of years. And right now, Birch Gold is offering a free info kit to help you understand how it works. Just text the word secure, SECURE, to 989898. There's no pressure, no obligation, just the facts. You can't predict the future, but you can be prepared, but only if you educate yourself. So take that first step right now. Text secure to the number 989898 today. That's secure to 989898.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the NBA announced today that Victor Wembanyama has been named as the Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month. Second time for Wemby that he's received this award since its inception during the 24-25 season. And all kinds of trades going down. One big one today comes from Memphis and Utah. The Grizzlies trading star forward Jaren Jackson Jr. to Salt Lake City for a lot of players and 3 first-round picks.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Live from San Francisco, it's The Blitz, broadcasting from AA Best Bell Bonds Radio Row ahead of Sunday's game. Here's Jason Minix and Joe Reinagel on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's only Tuesday. We got about 5 more days to wait until we sit in front of the old tube and watch the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Super Bowl 60, that's what this is. And, of course, we are there to cover it. Jason Minix out in San Francisco. I'm Joe Reinagel. This is our AA Best Bail Bonds big game coverage. And Brian Jones will join us here momentarily out there on Radio Row. But a lot going on, and I know Brian Jones, he's in demand.
Yeah, he is in demand. I was just told running a minute or two late. So we will see. And you think about the big game coming up on a Sunday. Joe, if you remember last year in New Orleans, they fed us wings every day.
Every day.
And by the end of the week, we were kind of sick of wings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on day 2 of wings. I know that wings won't be a part of my meal prep for Sunday's big game. And I think about Smoky Mo's Barbecue and that rib pack that they have. That might be more in the offering as opposed to, when I get back, depending on what I do. But that rib pack they have sounds far better than, I'm already on day 2 of wings. And I'm like, really? All right.
Well, you'll go 3 more days, Minix, of wings. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm up to about 18, I think, is what I've eaten at this point. So it is kind of interesting when you start thinking about Super Bowl and the different foods that you're going to have on Sunday. But I know it's a big wing day. I'm already winged out. Ribs is going to be on the menu.
Well, dude, I'm not concerned about you, Minix. You're going to eat. What about your kid, man? She doesn't like wings, or any meat for that matter. What the hell does she eat?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You don't really care, huh?
I mean, she's fine. She'll figure it out.
Fine.
There's the one thing about this convention center is you can, if you have a moment, which we haven't yet. There are a lot of restaurants around and some food options, but she's fine. I'm not worried about her. She'll survive.
Well, dad of the year over here.
Oh, dude, she chooses to be vegetarian, and the options here are wings. And it was funny earlier. She asked the people at the wings place, because last year they had carrots and celery.
That's true.
And this year they don't. But she said, "Hey, do you have the carrots and celery?" And they were like, "Yeah, last year nobody wants that crap. They just want the wings." And she was like, "I do." It's like we didn't bring them this year because nobody wants that.
Well, and they're right. Nobody wants it other than Erica. Although I like them, man. I like to dip them in the ranch dressing.
Sure. But apparently last year they wasted a bunch of them. Nobody ate them, so they didn't bring them this year. She's fine. She has some of her leftover pasta from last night that she'll eat.
Dude,
and go that route.
Wow.
All right.
Father of the year.
I see Brian Jones walking up as we speak. Hang on, Brian, take that seat right there, my friend. Absolutely. What's up, man? All right, we'll get Brian all situated here on Radio Row, and we got a doctor, so we got to find another chair for the doc. And yeah, Joe is back in San Antonio. When you put these headphones on, we'll go there. Yeah, we're moving all kinds of chairs, man. This is live radio at its finest.
Well, it's what we do. It's live radio, so that's fine. It's not a problem. I think people understand that.
Yep, that's exactly what we're doing as we get ready to rock and roll. Brian Jones, our good friend from CBS, always the best dressed man, but this might be the first time I've seen you not in a suit.
I wasn't in a suit.
I'm going to push that button there.
Can you hear me?
I got to push the right button. There you go.
You sure?
Yeah, there
it is. There it is.
I'm not in a suit during Army Navy when I sit in with you guys.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
I don't remember that, Brian, because you're always the sharpest dressed dude in the whole place.
Well, I'm not sharp today.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
Why aren't you here?
Well, that's a good question, and it's kind of a sore subject, my friend. So, you know.
Uh-oh. Never mind.
We'll be honest.
Never mind.
Station. Well, it's expensive out here, and the station went cheap.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is very expensive.
Yeah, it's you know, it is what it is in that regard.
There you go.
Absolutely. So, you know, obviously all the talk about the game on Sunday, and I know you're a defensive guy. Can the Patriots defense, that's the question, stop the Seattle offense to give the Patriots a chance?
It depends which Sam Darnold shows up. If the one that showed up, you know, the last time out, I'm going to say no. I think it's a 24-13 Seattle Seahawks win. Their defense is out of this world. That's the Legion of Boom Redux. I mean, they're incredible. But on the flip, the Patriots defense is nothing to sneeze at. Those guys get after you. They're incredible. I actually think Drake May is the better quarterback in this matchup. But I'm holding out that Sam Darnold, the right Sam Darnold, appears and they win.
You know, Brian, when you look at that and you talk about Sam Darnold, and you know, he's won 28 games over the last 2 years with two different teams. He's got the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, but still the guy just doesn't seem to get any respect at all. I think he has to win this game, and I'm wondering if I'm sure he knows that. Is the pressure going to be too much for him?
Well, if you're a Seahawks fan, they're hoping it's not. But you're human, and that has to creep in at some point. Whether he was seeking, you know, respect as a QB or not, it's going to be a pressure-filled moment for anybody that's played in that game. So hopefully he doesn't add any extra pressure upon himself, because there'll be more than enough. You know, one of the greatest quotes I saw was our national women's soccer coach a couple years ago in the Olympics, and she told the team before they went out to the pitch, you're playing the same game you played when you were, you know, 8 or 9, 10 years old. So you're not playing the moment, you're playing the game, the same game you've always played. So don't worry about all the pomp and circumstances that's surrounding this, even though it's the final match of the year. Just think about, this is the same game you've always played. So if you take that approach, you should be okay.
Easier said than done.
A lot easier said than done. I didn't say it was easy.
But once you settle in.
I'm giving him a roadmap.
And that's it. And I get that, you know, settle in and go.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting that all of us are just waiting for Sam Darnold to have, you know, the 9 sacks and the 5 interceptions, because we've seen it before.
Yep.
And, you know, I know you do so much college football with CBS. There are guys with a narrative that until they're able to shake the narrative,
right,
that's there. This is Sam Darnold's moment to shake that narrative.
No doubt. This is it. You mentioned last year with Minnesota. What did he do in the playoffs? Whew. He'd like to forget that. So you're right. You can change the entire narrative around your NFL career with a dub this Sunday.
You know, Brian, if you're looking at this matchup, and you mentioned both defenses, and both are pretty good, and I think New England is a little underrated when it comes to folks thinking. Everybody talks about that Seattle defense. What is it that New England's going to have to do to stop that powerful Seahawks offense?
Well, first you stop the run, Kenneth Walker, and you put the ball in the hands of Sam Darnold. Walker is an electric running back. And, you have to somehow, and this is going to be the matchup you got. I don't know if Gonzalez is going to fall in Jackson Smith and Jigba all over the field or not. But if he does, that matchup right there, because that kid, since his days at Ohio State, when everyone opted out, I remember that Rose Bowl, I believe they played Utah that year, and everyone had opted out, the other stellar wide receivers, Olave and I forget the other guy, they were gone, and he was left there, and he wore out Utah, and he wore out the NFL this year, leading receiver. So that's a matchup that I'm going to be clued in on.
Now, when you think about some of the different matchups and the big name guys, obviously we're all, JSN. And is there a different matchup like that sneaky good one? Like, watch this. This could be a key player in here, because this kind of game, you just never know what play is going to be the difference maker.
Well, how healthy is Drake May going to be? He's going to be hopped up on something. They got some good meds for him, so he'll be fine. And can he make plays with his legs? Going up against the Seahawks defense. They're fast, they're ferocious, they're furious. Can he make plays? Byron Murphy II, Hookem, has played outstanding since he stepped on to that team. So collectively, can they corral Drake May? Because he's gonna be able to do some things with his wheels.
That brings up an interesting point. We always hear about spies, right? And so I would assume maybe that Seattle will have somebody whose job it is to kind of just keep an eye on Drake May so he doesn't beat you with his legs.
Yeah, when you get him in third and long, and you feel as though you can handle, their receivers, you might employ a spy just because of his proficiency to take off and run, no doubt.
Brian Jones from CBS, former Longhorn, played in the NFL, joining us here on the Blitz. What's that extra motivation like in a game like this? Like DeMarcus Lawrence was in Dallas forever, as you know, and he gets to Seattle. As soon as he gets there, he's like, I knew I was not going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. And 1 year later, he's in the Super Bowl his first year.
Shots at my Cowboys.
And my Cowboys, right? How much does that, do you think, factor, or does it matter at this point? He was asked about it a couple of times last night at Media Day, and, he knew he wasn't going to go play in a Super Bowl with the Cowboys, and here he is a year later.
Don't worry about it. It shouldn't factor into this next event, because you're no longer a Cowboy. You chose Seattle for a reason, and you're getting an opportunity to now win the most coveted trophy in your profession. So why are you thinking about yesteryear? The Cowboys experience has nothing to do with this experience. It's totally different defense, totally different organization, and you're where you want to be, right at the precipice of hoisting the trophy.
Brian, talk a little bit about the coaching matchup here. You got Vrabel against McDonald. I would give the edge, just looking from the outside in, to Vrabel. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. I would give it to Vrabel as well. He's been as a player. How many did he win there with New England? I've lost count, but quite 3 or 4 as a player. So he's well versed in all this stuff that's going to be surrounding the game, and he can talk from experience how he felt and how he handled all the pressures of this game. So he's going to be he has the edge in that regard over Mike McDonald, but Seattle, they weren't on anyone's radar for getting here. No one. So what he's been able to do with that defense, and now getting to this moment where no one, I didn't hear any preseason talk about the Seahawks. No. So maybe I'm alone, but I don't think so. The fact that he's gotten his team here, he's going to be preaching, hey, same thing he's been preaching all season long. It's just about us in this room. Doesn't matter that no one else thought we would be here. We thought we would be here, and we put the work in to be here, and let's go finish the job.
And you say that, and you're right. There wasn't a lot of talk. It was the Rams and the Niners in the West, not the Seahawks. You're a smart guy. You know that. Ryan Eagle's a smart guy. I'm a smart guy. And yet we're collectively not the smartest person at this table. Dr. Christina, how do I say your last name?
Gavignano.
All right, and you are the smartest person in this entire room,
Yes.
aren't you?
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
and a huge football fan.
And a huge football fan. They handed me a sheet. This is all her degrees. From Harvard and all kinds of places we wouldn't even be allowed to apply to. But you have done something that I don't know that a lot of people know. You have the first real CTE drug that you created.
Sure. So we're very soon launching. We're collaborating with the Concussion Foundation with Chris Nowitzki, who's really big in that space. And he's helping us enroll former football players who have CTE and really want some help. And this class of drugs is something my group has been working on for many years. It's actually already approved for other diseases like arthritis. So we know how it behaves and its safety. And what we're doing is applying it to the idea that there's extra inflammation in the brain from getting hit in the head so many times, and it just does not go away over the years. And over time, that inflammation causes your neurons to ball up and not want to talk to each other anymore. When they ball up, they eventually die, and you literally end up with holes in your brain. But if we can catch it early before that happens all the way, just measure the inflammatory markers and take it back down to where it belongs, it actually promotes tissue healing by blocking that inflammation and allows the cells to go back to do what they want to do. And we've seen in other diseases it can reduce and reverse actually neurocognitive deficits. So we're very hopeful here, and that's what we aim to do.
Doc, let me ask you a question, because I can't even imagine what you just said and how you guys get to where you come and do all of that stuff. It's impressive. But a drug like that, you said cognitive, like Alzheimer's, could it help something like that, say, in the future?
Yes, sir. You're spot on, actually. Who said that I'm the smartest person in the room? You just nailed it. You just nailed it. I got to tell you, because there's actually a collaborator of ours at Harvard who is running a phase 2 trial with this drug for Alzheimer's disease. And what we're seeing here is that underneath so many brain diseases, inflammation is driving it. And when you bring that inflammation back down to where it belongs, you can really bring down a lot of symptoms. And we're hoping in some cases reverse or, delay the onset. So you are spot on about Alzheimer's and other CNS diseases. And that's really why we're so hopeful about this for CTE and for expanding to other brain diseases too.
Well, for anybody that has dealt with Alzheimer's like I have, keep doing that work, and
Yes.
for CT as well. Doc, Brian Jones, thank you for stopping by here on Radio Row. Good seeing you.
Take care, Brian.
Absolutely.
Right.
Appreciate it. As we wrap up here, they've got to go to the next one, but
Hey,
it
Minix.
is pretty amazing. Thank you. Appreciate
Minix,
it.
I'm going home, man. I can't get any better than I just got right there. So, I mean, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I'm just going to take the rest of the day off.
You're not the smartest guy in the room. You're really not. But you can take that. She's thrilled to know that she propped you up there.
Yeah, well, that's good. I appreciate her. I tell you what, I'm glad there are smart people like her in this world that are developing drugs that can help people, especially Alzheimer's and that kind of, and CTE as well. There's such cruel diseases that we need to get rid of them, and I'm glad she's working on it.
Absolutely. And again, the idea that there are people out there that can do that. And again, I can't read all this. I mean, there's words on this page I don't know how to pronounce. Like the name of the drug is about 2 sentences long, but Bear E for short, if you want to Google it and learn more about it. But it is nice to know people are doing stuff like that.
No question about it. I'm glad we have smart people in this world. And then those of us that aren't smart do sports talk radio shows. So
there we go.
There you go. That's the way that it goes. And we're going to continue this sports talk radio show. So happy that you guys have chosen to spend some of your Tuesday with us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We'll get back out to San Francisco when we return. This is the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Big Game Giveaway. Predict the exact score of the big game in Santa Clara, California, and you could score $50,000. Make your predictions now at sasportstar.com. The 50K Big Game Giveaway, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Score big with Dietz Tractor in Seguin and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The Headline Blitz is brought to you by Novo Brazil Brewing Company, San Antonio's newest sports watching destination with over 60 feet of LED video walls and 80 craft beers and kombucha on tap. Novo is attached to North Star Mall and open late hours to serve you. If you haven't checked out the new Novo Brazil Brewing Company attached to North Star Mall, what are you waiting for? We're talking craft beers and kombucha on tap, a handcrafted food menu, 8 massive LED screens. This is San Antonio's newest sports watching destination. It's Novo Brazil Brewing Company's first Texas location and is conveniently attached to North Star Mall and open late hours to serve you. Fresh Novo Poke Nachos, Picanha Prime Sirloin, burgers, and more. Novo Brazil Brewing Company. Go to novobrew.com. That's NOVObrew.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Total Wine is your home field advantage for game day. The only place to go for the lowest prices on your go-to lineup of spirits, beers, seltzers, and wines. Tackle game day and every day only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Round up your foursome, your work crew, your weekend golf buddies, even the ladies, and get ready for a fun, laid-back day at the Golf Club of Texas. Monday, March 30th. Lock in a team for just $500 for a foursome, or jump in solo for $150 per player and spend the day talking trash, crushing drives, and laughing your way around the course. This isn't a stuffy golf club tournament. It's golf the way it should be. The Spring Golf Classic benefits feeding animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, so you're having a great time for a great cause. Presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, and Ancira.com. And when the last putt drops, the day is just getting started. Join us for the after party at the 90 Proof Bar at Lucky Ranch Road and Highway 90. Cold drinks, great food, and all the post-round storytelling you can handle. So pick your team, claim your spot, and tee up with San Antonio's Sports Star. Sign up your foursome now at sasportstar.com. Our AA Best Bell Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Back here on a Tuesday, this is the Blitz, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe in San Antonio. Jason Minix is in San Francisco. Radio Row, our AA Best Bell Bonds big game coverage, and lots happening out there. I can hear all the noise out there. Lots going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many 1,000 people in this room right now, all these different people going from interview to interview, and just the buzz and the excitement as you get ready for not only the Super Bowl tonight, but man, it is odd here in San Francisco, Joe, about the people that seemingly are unaware that the event is happening in the Bay Area. Now, granted, most of the Uber drivers that we have had don't speak any English.
Dude, wait a minute. Whoa. Stop right there. You had an Uber driver last night. Do you remember the name?
No, that was the Uber driver this morning.
Oh, this morning.
Yeah, that was this morning coming to work. And the Uber driver's name was Porn Pimple. I was like, this can't be real. Like, I had to screenshot that and send it to you, because if I told you that without you hearing it, there's no way you would believe that my Uber driver's name was Porn.
Well, I hear that happens to people. You watch too much porn, you get pimples. I don't know.
I mean, of all the names. Now, I don't know if this was male or female. I have no idea. Person did not get out of the car, and it's like, how do I say your name? And whatever they said. Now, the porn part was very clear. The rest of it, I have no idea. But the spelling of it was like, Porn Pimple's coming to pick you up. They'll be there in 6 minutes.
Well, I like porn.
It was, of all the names, I don't even know
Holy cow.
how to react to that.
Yeah, you sent me that picture, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That was the funniest damn thing.
And I mean, you saw it. Like, I'm like, there's no way. It was a nice car, and that's the crazy thing. The driving in this town is insane. The hills are insane, but nobody speaks English, and it is odd. Very, very, very odd.
Wow. Well, interesting stuff. And you guys, no rental car, right? So you're in Ubers wherever you need to go, to and from the convention center, restaurants, whatever.
That is correct. I mean, no rent, and thank God. Quite honestly, I don't know how you would park in this town if we had one. Like, there is a driveway, but there are cars parallel parked across our driveway. So even if you wanted to, now granted, we're sharing this rent house. We don't have, our Airbnb is not just us. We get the upstairs, and there are people living down below us. Rob has seen them. I haven't. Rob has, but you can hear them. They can hear you. We have a shared entrance, and then when you go through, like, their entryway, there's stairs that go upstairs, and then there's a door that they go through that's locked. And we know that because we thought that was our place, but it's locked. But there is nothing to keep them from coming upstairs at any point during our stay.
Wait, you don't have a lock or anything?
No.
Wow.
No. There is like a little, like, I don't know, sliding thing, but it doesn't attach to anything. But there's nothing to keep them from opening that. I mean, it's more than a curtain, but it's basically just a curtain. It is the most bizarre Airbnb situation I've ever stayed in. I mean, I can't say that I feel unsafe, but if they wanted to come up in the middle of the night and snuggle, they could. If they wanted, if they wanted to, put stuff in the refrigerator and use it, or the oven upstairs, they could. There's nothing stopping them. But, if they want to rummage through, Rob's underwear, they can.
Oh, jeez. Who the hell would ever want to do that?
Well, Mrs. Thompson,
I guess. Well, I guess there's somebody for everyone. I can't even imagine. Well, I'm sick now. I'm gonna have to go. Jeez, man. Just don't take any drinks from them, man. They're gonna spike your drink, and they'll come up and have their way with you, Minix.
I mean, yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. All good. Well, yeah, no, it's fun and fun talking Super Bowl, and we got a fun guest coming up in at Jason Fitz. Always a fun guy to talk to.
Well, yeah, no, and I'm looking at this guy, and I don't think I've ever had the privilege of look. He's not only a sports reporter, but he's a musician.
Yeah, no, he used to be in a band called the Band Perry. You've actually met him when he was still with ESPN.
Okay, well, I remember the Band Perry. I just thought they were brother and sister. Is he one of the brothers?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, I'll ask him.
There, so we got to go to break so we can get there.
Well, let's go to break then. Jason Fitz will join us next here on the Blitz, a 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First, I got to tell you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. Love talking about Stevens Roofing because, well, they're just great people. family-owned company, local company, and, well, they are the absolute best in the business. So you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to tell you this, and you'll see exactly what I mean. They have been in business since 1983. 1983! That is an incredible run for a business like that, or any business for that matter. And all it tells you is they stand behind their work, they do good work, and they've got a ton of satisfied customers. That is for sure. Or otherwise, they wouldn't be in business at all. But they certainly are, and they are going strong. And now they've added solar to what they do. If you've been thinking about solar panels on your house, why not go to the best? That would be Stevens Roofing and Solar. Give them a call, 210-785-0994. If you think you have a problem with your roof, maybe the cold weather or whatever did something, and you suspect that there might be a problem with your roof, call Stevens Roofing and Solar. They'll send a crew out to your house. They'll inspect your roof for free, and they'll let you know if there's anything wrong or how we need to take care of it. That's what they do. They are the absolute best. And, of course, that's what you want for your biggest investment. You want the best. Stevens Roofing and Solar. Give them a call, 210-785-0994, or you can visit them online at stevensroofing.net.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocation, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com. You know, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the big game in Silicon Valley, and the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all the pregame excitement leading up to the superb Owl. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Nice touch there, James Pledger. We're back on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This is The Blitz. I'm Joe Reinagel. Let's head back out to San Francisco. Our big game coverage sponsored by AA Best Bail Bonds. Jason Minix is out there with a special guest. Jason.
Yeah, another Jason. Jason Fitz now with Yahoo joining us. And, you know, it's interesting, Joe, during the break, you know, Jason Fitz was saying, man, I loved playing the San Antonio Rodeo back when you were with the band Perry. And you and I first met as I've told this story before, but you were in a band and we were at the NAB convention in Atlanta years ago. And we were talking, you're like, I want to do sports radio. Love music, but I want to do sports radio. And damn it, dude, you did it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I pitch myself every year when I get to the Super Bowl. I think this is the fourth Super Bowl I've covered. Before with ESPN, now with Yahoo, they brought me out every year, and it never gets old. Every time I see my buddies, because, you know, ESPN moved me up from Nashville to Connecticut, so I've been up in Connecticut for a few years. Every time my buddies come through, like Rascal Flatts came through a minute ago, and I sat in with them, and I'll sit in with friends when they're in town. But some of the crew guys from Flats came up to me, and they're like, hey, man, we owe you an apology, because back then, I was carrying a little Pelican case that had all of my podcasting gear with me, and this was before podcasts, like 2012, 2013. Like, pods weren't really a thing when I started doing it, and everybody made fun of me because I'm yelling in a mic for 8 people to listen, and I was like, I'm gonna make it someday. And now they're all like, oh my God, how did you do it? So it never gets old. I'm incredibly blessed and incredibly lucky that I've now had 2 careers that are fan supported. Like, it's just the most incredible thing in the world to have made that jump.
Well, you know, Jason, it's interesting because just looking at your life, I mean, you started playing music as a kid. And you were very good at it. Were you always interested in sports even as a kid, or is that something that came later?
So when I was 4 years old, I started playing the violin. I got into Carnegie or Juilliard. I played Carnegie Hall as a classical violinist when I was 10. So like I went on this fast track. So by the time I was 8, I practiced 8 hours a day. But my dad was a big Raiders fan. So my dad's one rule was, I'm not going to listen to a cat die while I watch the Raiders game. So I don't want to listen to a violin. So my dad would go get a dozen donuts, and we would split a dozen double chocolate donuts, and we'd watch the Raiders every Sunday. So I think as I grew up, and again, like I went to public school, like we didn't really have like so many kids that were accelerated at that age in classical music, had tutors, and they're like, we couldn't afford any of that. So like I lived a very weird life of practicing, and I'd get up at 3:30 in the morning and I'd practice before I went to school, and I'd go to school, come home, do my homework, and I practiced until I got my 8 hours in, you know. So I was a grinder even as a kid. But as I got older, Sundays were my escape. Like watching football was always my escape. And there's a really famous classical violinist that I saw an interview with when I was a little kid, and he talked about he would mute mute football games, and he would practice his scales and like his basics, because he said if I could do it during the excitement of football, I knew I could execute at any time. So even as a kid, sports were my release. And, when you flash forward to, years later out on the road with the band, every Sunday the bus driver knew we had to be somewhere with satellite signal so that we could get the games. I would still find some way to bring in a dozen donuts, 8 of myself, and then I'd watch. So like, I think sports, my love of sports came from the fact that like it was the time that I didn't have to think about music. I didn't have to try and be better every day, that 1%er thing. It was my release, and it's incredible. I think that's why I'm wildly proud of it now, to have done it later in life, to build a second career later in life. It's been crazy, and I certainly had to take some wild risks on myself and work really hard. But I think sports have always been my release, and I've managed to keep a better level of joy with it, if this makes any sense. Like when I was touring, I remember we played 110,000 people in Hyde Park in London. And I remember coming off stage, and I just looked at our tour manager. I'm like, where are we tomorrow? Like, I didn't even soak in that it was 110,000 people. Like, that wasn't a rush for me. Every time the red light goes on and I get to talk about sports for Yahoo, I get the butterflies that I didn't get, as a performer in music. So I just think I found the thing that fed my soul later. So I think that's why it hits me so much now.
Jason Fitz joining us here on the Blitz, co-host of Yahoo Sports Daily. The music career, and then ESPN moved you to Bristol.
Yeah.
And you stayed?
Yeah.
I mean, the country music scene in Bristol can't be great. And I've been to Bristol. The town itself kind of sucks.
It does.
When you left ESPN, why didn't you get the hell out of Connecticut?
I think it's a great question. I was I say blessed and lucky and fortunate. I had just done a new deal with ESPN 6 months prior to them having the layoffs that I was part of. I did not expect that. I was literally on a flight headed to Denver for my first vacation in 3 years. I'd averaged about 70 hours a week at ESPN. I was doing radio 5 days a week. I was also one of the original hosts of SportsCenter on Snapchat. I was helping College Football Live. Like, I was grinding. I was sleeping on a couch on campus because I was working so hard. And I was on a flight to Denver, and I looked at my phone and I got a call, and I was like, hey, you're getting cut. And so they were changing the lineup, and that impacted me. It was an hour later that Yahoo Sports, the CEO of Yahoo Sports, was somebody that used to work at ESPN, and he texted me and said, hey, I know your contract is such that you don't necessarily like the way entertainment contracts work. I had 2 years where I could sit at home and get paid, basically. And he said, I know you don't have to work, but I want you to work for me. And so it was a no-brainer, and I went to Yahoo. What I wasn't sure of is, what does all that mean next, right? So I didn't want to uproot out of Bristol and then find out that I was going to head to L.A. or New York or all of these places. So I wanted to give it time. And frankly, I'm just too dang old to move for no sake of moving. That being said, I'm now far enough removed from all of it, and I've cemented myself. We've done a long-term deal at Yahoo. I'm going to be here for a long time. They'll let me work for it anywhere. I'd be stunned if in 6 months I'm not back in Nashville. I just wanted – Yahoo Sports Daily was a really special show for us to launch in August. I wanted to get through the Super Bowl and then figure out how to get back to my friends. And it's often that the Jordan Davises of the world, country music artists that I love and talk to, often tell me all the time that I'm an idiot for being. But really, I get better free access to shows in Connecticut than I ever would in Nashville. Too many people want free tickets in Nashville. Not as many people in Connecticut.
Oh, Jason, it's a fascinating story. You've lived a fascinating life, but I have to ask you this, because as a kid, you say you were a classical violinist. How did you get the mindset to change to playing the fiddle? I mean, how do you do that?
So, honest answer on this. When I moved to town in Nashville, I sang with some guys, and we got record deals, and we kept getting dropped. We never made it. We got so many record deals, and every time we're like, we're going to be famous, and it never worked out. And while that was happening, I started playing in an orchestra called the Nashville String Machine that plays on major studio records. So I played on Matchbox 20 and Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and all of these massive records in that like late 90s, early 2000s when I first moved to town. And so I was doing the thing that way. And our band that I was in at the time, way before the band Perry, we were about to do a bunch of shows, and there was fiddle on stuff that we were recording. And our manager came in at the time, and he's like, hey, we're going to have to hire a fiddle player. And he wants like $400 a show. Well, we didn't have $400 a show. And so I turned around, I'm like, that's stupid. It's just a violin and fiddle are the same instrument. It's just a very different approach to how you play it. So I was like, I'm not paying somebody. I can figure this out. My God. So I took several months of my life, and I started ripping apart old rock and roll records from the 70s, 60s guitar solos. Because my thing was like, there's a million kids out there that have been playing Devil Went Down to Georgia and Orange Blossom Special since they were 4 years old, just like I started playing Mozart when I was 4 years old. I'm not going to out Orange Blossom Special, the kid that wins the Texas State Fair, ever. I knew that. So how do I find my own voice? So I took Eagles records, Aerosmith records, and then I got into 80s, like Bon Jovi records, Guns N' Roses records. And I asked myself, if it wasn't on a guitar, but it was on a fiddle, what could I create? And that's how I approached everything, which ended up giving me a much different approach to the instrument, which is how I stood out. Because there's 1,000 fiddle players in Nashville that are all great and all very deserving. But because I came from a really strict classical background that then turned into sort of a rock fiddle background, it really lended itself, especially with the band Perry, like, the first record was so melodic with the If I Die Youngs and, the You Lies and things like that. It was a really melodic record. The second record had Done and Better Dig 2, and those were all really rock-centric, like aggressive things. So it really worked out for me, right place, right time, that my approach worked with a group of people that really liked the way that I played the fiddle.
Jason Fitz joining us here on The Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Fascinating. And I know, you want to talk football. We want to talk music, right?
I love talking to guys. It doesn't matter.
Athletes want to talk music. Musicians want to talk athletes, in sports. And, I'm a fan of music, more rock than anything. But it is, to me, it's just fascinating, the whole music industry. But when you came up, you were like, dude, the San Antonio Rodeo was one of the best. It's February. Rodeo's about to get started. Is there points where you miss being in the band, like the San Antonio Rodeo that's going to kick off here in a couple of days?
Yeah, so a very true story. Because I played for the band, I played fiddle. That was my primary instrument, but I also played piano and B3 and dobro, a few other instruments, because not every song has a fiddle on it, right? So I'll never forget the San Antonio Rodeo. I had a keyboard. Nord makes these keyboards, and after the rodeo, one of the keys wasn't working, and so I had to call Nord and I had to ship it off, and that's a pain in the butt when you're playing all this stuff. And I'll never forget Nord to hit me back, and they're like, "Well, we found dirt in your keyboard," and I'm like, "Right, yeah, we just played the San Antonio Rodeo." And the Nord people said, "Well, you can't get dirt in a keyboard. That's not going to be good for them." And I said, "Ma'am, you obviously don't know much about country music, because there ain't no way I'm going to play this thing and not get rodeo dirt in it." It's so surreal for me. What I miss when I miss it is I miss the camaraderie. I think ESPN was such a beautiful move for me because I still had that locker room environment, that tour bus environment. I miss the boys and and KP obviously, but mostly men on that tour. I miss the gang right before a show. I miss watching the curtain drop. I miss the energy, but particularly rodeos are so special because you feel like you're walking into a crowd that is ready for it. So often when you play an arena, and I love arena shows because you control the elements more, but when you play an arena, you still got to make sure you hammer them over the head with the first couple of songs. You got to make sure you get the crowd on your side. When you're coming to the rodeo, like there's something about the thrill of, it doesn't matter what rodeo we're talking about, but in general, mutton busting, when you're sitting there and you're watching mutton busting, you're like, yep, they're about to roll the stage out. There is something magical to that. There's something magical about the smell of the rodeo and just knowing like you are in the thick of the people that actually support the music. Like that to me was always the thing. Like what makes country music special? And what is all, like I've never been a person that debates, is this country? To me, country music is, do people that listen to it, do they connect to it? Do they find themselves in your song, in your story? And I don't know that you can find a more connected group of people than rodeo fans that are just in it. They love it. They're with you the whole way. And I'll never forget, San Antonio Rodeo was one of the first times in my career that you wear these in-ears that make everything soundproof. You can't hear. Sorry, guys. When people are yelling and screaming at you on stage, you can't hear a word they're saying. But that was one where I actually pulled one of the ears out after I played If I Die Young, because I just wanted to sit and soak in what it felt like in that moment to have a crowd go nuts. I'll never forget it. So San Antonio, that whole Riverwalk area, it's just very special. I was there last year for the Final Four, and the whole time I was like, I remember rodeo dirt. Like that's just it's a special city.
Jason, now that you've come over to the dark side in the sports business and you've been here for a while, do you still play music? Do you still perform in front of crowds?
So when friends come through town, I sit in with them all the time, and it's great. Like I was talking to Jordan Davis last year as I sat in with him, and I was like, the best part is I get to sit in and then go sleep on my bed. I don't have to go on a tour bus bunk. But a lot of times, like I've sat in with them, Collective Soul, Rascal Flats, Little Big Town. The list goes on and on. When they come through Connecticut all the time, I'll hit them up and just, hey, you want a fiddle player for a song? And come on. I sat in with Edwin McCain, a couple months ago, just because I'm a big Edwin McCain fan, and we started following each other. And I'm like, hey, so I think for me, that scratches the itch. And then nobody will ever stop me from being musical. Like I write songs only I'm going to care about. And every once in a while I put them out on social media just because I'm proud of it. But it's funny. I'll always be a musician. I just don't miss the grind of having to worry about, whether or not the record label likes this song, and is radio picking it up, and is it getting enough spins? Is it getting like every one of us on this show right now, we will talk about sports for the rest of our lives in a sports bar and with our buddies, right? I don't miss the business of music. I will always be a musician, just like all of us will probably never miss the business of sports talk, but we certainly will always love doing it.
Absolutely. And what's cool, do you send them an invoice after you go play a song or two?
They can't afford me anymore. Come on. Every once in a while, somebody will hit me up too and be like, hey, will you play my wedding? And it's like always some random, like, will you play my wedding? And I've decided that I'm just going to keep making that number more astronomical and insulting just because it's funny to me. No, I never hit them with an invoice, but I do eat them out of catering. Let me tell you, I'm back there in catering. I'm taking platefuls home. There's a spot in Connecticut that had a sign on the machine that said for artists only on ice cream. Let me tell you, I hossed up on that thing before and after. I'm like, artist only ice cream. Tonight I'm an artist.
Dude, all right, now look at you. I don't know what you weigh, but less than 200 pounds.
You have made my day.
Right? Seriously, a dozen donuts, all this ice cream. No, unless you're on some really good stuff. No. There's just no way. Your metabolism is like our producer, James Pledger, then, because that dude can eat everything and never gains a pound.
I appreciate you saying that. I've gone on a massive health journey over it's been almost 2 years of working out and eating healthy. So I give myself like one splurge day every couple of months. It just always happens to be, I plan that around my concert schedule for the summer. Like I'm already hitting up Jelly Roll because I want Jelly Roll to let me sit in and play fiddle with him when he's up in Connecticut with Post. Like I will plan that in advance as a day. But yeah, one of my buddies that I toured with, one of the guitar players for the band Perry, I saw him a couple of years ago when he was out. He's playing guitar for Carrie Underwood now, and I saw him with Carrie, and he came up and he's like, man, I really thought you would have gotten fat, so I'm impressed you didn't. I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment or a statement on how I eat, but I hear you.
All right, who's going to win the game, Jason? Let's talk some sports. Who do you like?
Seattle big, and I like Seattle by a lot. And I'll say this. Think about the Rams versus the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. There is no team in the NFL that knows Seattle better than the Rams. And I think we can all agree that the Rams are well coached and that the Rams have a very good defense. They spent all week planning for an opponent that they know. And what did Jackson Smith and Jigba do in the first half? Over 100 yards receiving. Right. When you think about that, as much as we keep talking about, oh, my God, I can't believe that Drake May has beaten 3 top 5 defenses. What offenses has he beat? And to me, Seattle's Achilles heel this season is that they've started slow. They figured that out. If we really want to know the difference between Seattle in the playoffs versus Seattle in the middle of the season where they were a little bit murky, it's Seattle has figured out how to stop the slow starts. If Seattle comes out fast in this game, and I think they have the opportunity to do that, now Drake May has to match point for point. Drake May hasn't been asked to do that all year. I don't think he can against what I think is the best scheme defense in the NFL. So I think Mike McDonald is going to take it to these Patriots. I think the Patriots win by 17. Or sorry, wow. The Seahawks win by 17.
Yeah, that was very professional done because you just have both winning by 17, and our producer can clip that, right? You're going to be there. See, now Joe Reinagle thinks he's leaning Patriots right now. I'm leaning Seattle, so I'm with you. I think the only way the Patriots can win is if their defense is incredible and Sam Darnold turns into the Sam Darnold we've seen. But we haven't seen that all year, really, from Sam Darnold. Can he shake that? Will he shake that narrative?
If he wins the Super Bowl, this is so unfortunate to me because think about it, you mentioned the narrative, and there was a stretch of about a month where Sam Darnold this year wasn't quite as good. Throughout the playoffs, he's been great. But we are still sitting here saying, I'm waiting for Sam Darnold to go out there and Sam Darnold. Drake May's been pitiful in the playoffs. And we keep saying, oh, no, Drake will figure it out because he's an MVP this year. He could end up winning the MVP. I think he'll finish second. But either way, when you think about it that way, I think we're so dug into the narratives of what we have. And look, Sam Darnold deserved that. Sam Darnold has had some bad games, but nobody has played him tougher than the Rams. And he just went blow for blow with Matt Stafford in a game where his defense didn't hold up their end of the bargain. Like if I told you going into the NFC Championship game that the only way the Seahawks could win is if Sam Darnold went absolute toe-to-toe with Matthew Stafford, we'd all taken the Rams in that game. We wouldn't have believed it. I think Sam Darnold has already started to change that narrative. I think he will change that narrative in the Super Bowl. Honestly, I kind of hope he does because 14 wins back-to-back years. I mean, at some point, I feel like we're holding the 3 or 4 games that are regrettable in the last 2 seasons against him in a way that we don't do to Mahomes, who's had 2 bad Super Bowls against good teams, or against Drake May, who's had 3 bad games in the playoffs. I trust Sam Darnold more than I trust Drake May in this game.
I think Darnold played his best game as a pro against the Rams in that championship game. He was just sensational. At the quarterback play, period. Stafford was pretty good, too. And so I'm with you. Even though I am leaning Patriots, I want to see Sam Darnold get the respect he deserves.
Look, and I think that's one part of this. Like for everybody that's saying this is an unprecedented Super Bowl or people aren't interested in it because these aren't big, people already have Patriots fatigue, all these things. I think this is going to be a great game. Like I think there's enough storylines to watch through it, even in a blowout, which I think Seattle's going to win comfortably. I still think that this is the beginning of a moment for Seattle. They got a lot of young talent. They have a young head coach that I think is the defensive version of Shawne McVay. I think there's a lot of reason to be Sam Darnold's 28. Like if Sam Darnold goes out and let's say he's Super Bowl MVP, how are we going to have to couch the conversation in the fact that this could be the beginning of an era of Sam Darnold? And if it's not, if the Patriots turn around and win, my God, year 1, Mike Vrabel has done this. Year 2 of Drake May, Josh McDaniels is one of the most brilliant offensive coordinators of all time, and also likely unhireable as a head coach. So you might have he turns into the Spags for Kansas City. Like Steve Spagnuolo has been a defensive coordinator, year in and year out from Andy Reid because for whatever reason can't get a head coaching job. If you get that same stability from Josh McDaniels running Drake May for the next decade, man. Okay, then I'm gonna look like an idiot, and I'm okay with that because I think that signifies a beautiful moment for the Patriots.
Jason Fitz, co-host of Yahoo Sports Daily. You can find Yahoo Sports Daily on the Yahoo Sports Network Fast Channel, YouTube, yahoosports.com, everywhere. Yeah. And your socials is incredible.
No, thank you so much. Guys, I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Jason Fitz here on Radio Row in San Francisco.
Good stuff, man. I tell you what, what a career and a life Jason has had. I'm telling you, with the fiddle player and the bands he's played with and the stuff he's done. Now he's a sports guy, and well, he's on Radio Row, so that's pretty cool. Hey, Jason Minix, are you ready to laugh?
Always.
Well, it's time to laugh, my friend, because comedy superstar Frankie Quinones, he's taking over the Aztec Theater Wednesday, February the 12th, 7 o'clock. You've seen him on Netflix, Hulu, HBO, the genius behind Juanita, Cholo Fit, and those viral wellness checks. If you're from San Antonio, this humor hits different. Win your tickets all week long on the Morning Huddle and the Blitz. And we're gonna give away a pair of tickets right now to caller number what, Minix?
Let's go caller number 10.
10. 210-656-3776, 656-ESPN. Caller number 10. You get to go see comedian Frankie Quinones, February 12th at the Aztec Theater. John Riggins, that's right, that John Riggins, joins us next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that, call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, 210-225-2121. You can text bail to 474747 or even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. And you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, Make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. You're riding with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. If you're tired of pain slowing you down from a recent injury or something that's been nagging you for years, we can help. At Arasti, we've earned the trust of over 8,000 physicians by delivering fast, lasting pain relief without painkillers or surgery. Our hands-on approach targets the root cause of pain, and most patients see results in just one visit. No referral needed, and it's covered by most insurance plans. So don't wait. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti. We fix pain fast.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
we can be twinsies
to
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Order Smoky Mo's Texas Barbecue for your big game watch party. For a limited time, the rib pack is available just for the big game with 3 pounds of mouth-watering ribs and home-style sides of your choice. Feed your crowd with game day favorites. For 26 years, Smoky Mo's has created craft-level barbecue with great neighborhood value. Smoky Mo's is great Texas barbecue served fast and friendly with 8 convenient locations in San Antonio. Stop by or order Smoky Mo's for pickup or delivery at SmokyMo'sBBQ.com.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, another honor for one Victor Wembanyama. Today he's been named as the Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month. Second time that Wemby's received that award since its inception during the 24-25 season. And a lot of trades taking place, a lot of potential trades in the works. The biggest today, though, the Memphis Grizzlies traded star forward Jaren Jackson Jr. to Utah. A lot of players, but 3 future first-round picks.
Live from AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row in San Francisco with coverage leading up to Sunday's big game. It's The Blitz with Jason Minix and Joe Reinagel on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We're back here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1. This is The Blitz. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix out in San Francisco with a legend sitting there right in front of him. Jason.
Absolutely a legend. John Riggins joining us now here on The Blitz. And this is going to be a lot of fun, although admittedly as a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan, and I'm looking at a game-worn jersey that John Riggins is going to auction off. And, I've got mixed feelings about that jersey, sir.
Well, I'm sure you do. You said you're a Cowboys fan, and I have to confess that when I was in grade school and high school, I was a Cowboys fan, but now not anymore, that's for sure. Yeah, this is the jersey that I wore in Super Bowl 17 when I became the MVP, the 4th and 1, the whole deal. Still got the original grass stains on. It's never been washed. Got probably a little bit of DNA in there. No blood, though. They didn't scuff me up too bad that day.
Well, that's incredible. Erica, I want you to because this jersey is worth a lot of money. Somehow, no, don't take a picture of it. Show it on the video somehow where you can maneuver it and get it on the screen. So if your people that are watching on YouTube can actually see what this game-worn jersey looks like. Yeah, I mean the dirt stains that are still on there.
If you want to know more information about that, go to HondaAuctions.com and you'll see the whole Megillah.
Well, look at that. Now, my question, sir, where's this jersey been? Has it been up in the closet, the attic somewhere?
It's been in a safe.
It's been in a safe.
Mm-hmm. It's like the secret to Coca-Cola.
So why now are you deciding to let it go?
Well, it's going to take me a second to tell this story, but it all begins in 1971 in New York City at Shea Stadium. Joe and I was a rookie that year, and we start out the season. Joe Namath gets injured in an exhibition game. And so he's not coming back for quite some time. So we got 2 quarterbacks. We start the season with so. Finally, we get into late October, early November, and the starting quarterback, he goes down. Backup quarterback, he goes down. And Joe was dressed that day. He was supposed to come back the following week, but he had to come into the game. And so he comes into the game. I'm out in the huddle, and the ovation that man got was still, I get goosebumps talking about it to this day because I've never witnessed anything like that. And I was in the huddle and I just closed my eyes and pretended it was for me. And I was like, oh, wow, this would be great. This would be great. Although down deep, I knew it wasn't for me. So fast forward 10 years and we're down at RFK and we're playing the Minnesota Vikings. And I had in the beginning of the playoffs, we played Detroit the week before. And we were coming up on, I think at the time, I don't know if we knew it at the time, we were going to end up playing Dallas in the championship game. So I had a decent game, had about 185 yards or so. And so Gibbs comes off the field, or Gibbs had me come off the field before the game was over so the fans could acknowledge me. So I'm coming off the field and I stop and I take a bow and I bow, 4 different directions to the fans. And I got a standing ovation. And I got to tell you, it wasn't as big as Joe's. I'll be honest with you. But then again, there was only about 65,000 people there. I don't remember how big Shea was. But I'm going to tell you something. It lasted a lifetime. And the reason I'm telling you that story is what the fans have given me over the years is something that I feel like that it's very special. I think it's very special in human existence to get that kind of acknowledgement. Not everybody gets to do that. I don't want to insult you, Jason, or Joe, but you've probably never had an ovation where you got 60,000 people. If you ever have, I just told somebody it's the second best feeling to be in a human being, orgasm being number 1. This would be number 2. When you get that kind of acknowledgement from your fellow man, you know you've done something.
Or if you get a standing ovation because of your orgasm.
Oh, now you're talking.
And there's only hopefully just one person in the room giving you that standing ovation.
That's the problem with that, Joe. It's like it gets a little dicey when you get that.
Exactly.
It go a lot of different ways there. But anyway, that feeling that I got from the fans, it's like, these kind of things, this jersey will never replace something like that. I feel it every day when I, watch games and all that stuff, because without the fans, there is no football. And I'll tell you a quick story. There's a player, a pretty good player, great college player, but he did so in the NFL. He said he'd play in an empty stadium. And I just went, you gotta be kidding me. What's the point? The fans are the game, for crying out loud. Without them, and I tell people, the fans were my PEDs. I hated practice. I was always slow in practice. But I'm telling you what, you put a bunch of people in front of me, and I think it just psychologically I'm geared that way, that I can take it to another level. But once the crowd leaves, it's like, well, what's the big deal here? Nothing to see here, folks. Keep moving.
John, I appreciate the fact that you appreciate the fans like that, but I know the fans appreciated you because of the way you played football. I've never seen anybody since that played football as hard and as tough as you played the game. It was just so much fun to watch.
Well, you're very kind, but let me tell you what, there were guys that was on the other side who were playing every bit as hard, and I have to tell you, they were a little tougher. It's like that old Kenny Rogers song, The Gambler. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And I did. I played for 14 years as a running back, so I think I had a pretty good idea when to fold them.
Well, I mean, you did, as we visit with the legend John Riggins here on the Blitz. You think about your holdout, what you're going to do, all the. I mean, people know your story, but even then, for you to come back and have what was the play voted the greatest play in Washington Redskins history?
Yeah,
right?
The 4th and 1 at Pasadena.
And you think about, like, even as a Cowboy fan, you respect just incredible moments in sport. But a long franchise history like what Washington has, to have the greatest moment for fans to vote that's impressive.
And that's the point I'm trying to make, is because without them, they've given me so much. I mean, I think the least I can do is let them share and letting them have some of the treasures that I've had all these years.
John, I'm interested with the way that you played and obviously your competition on the other way. When you watch today's game, does it bother you at all that the game is the way that it is? It's certainly not as tough as it was when you played.
Oh, Joe, you're a student of the game. Very well. Very perspicacious on your part. No, you have to, it's about human beings. And that was one of the things in the back of my mind the whole time I played and getting into it is, nowadays I look at these guys, or I did when I first got out of the game, and I remember a preseason game, and I was doing and I was retired. Now, this first year I'd retired, we had RFK State, the Pittsburgh Steelers in town. I'm walking past the linebackers, and I looked at them, and I went, what the hell was I thinking being out here on the field with these guys? And I was just a year out of the game. But I think you got to give the league a lot of credit for recognizing the danger, or I should say the physical violence of the game and what it does to the human body. And and it is what it is. And, it's like driving a race car. You realize there's some inherent risk here once I get behind the wheel. But you're right. It's not a game. But I guess I'm not envious of anybody. Because I remember back when we were playing. And, the last thing I ever want to do is be a grouchy old man that's going, oh, they ain't as tough as I am. Oh, I did all this stuff. Because I know there were guys that played 30 years before me that could look at my group of people and go, oh, those guys are a bunch of pussies. They're not tough guys. They played without face masks, without pads. So, you got to kind of keep everything in perspective.
So you're not a back in my day guy like Joe Reinagel.
No, I don't know.
To a degree.
Well, I try to keep away from that. Now, if I wasn't on live radio here, I might go.
But I mean, to your point though, you played 14 years, very physical. You didn't have all the stuff that players have today, yet a running back today, 6, 8 years, 10 years. I mean, they turn 30 and they're done. I mean, with the exception of like maybe a Derrick Henry, most running backs don't last like you did.
Well, I was extremely lucky. Let's face it. I mean, it could happen on any given play. You could got the knee injury, whatever it may be, a concussion. You get a couple of them, and you got to look at your long-term health and go, or you just physically aren't capable of playing the game anymore. But I also will say this: I was extremely fast. There was no linebackers in the league could run with me, and I could easily avoid defensive linemen as much as I could. And the DBs, I could run over them. So my point, I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that I had a lot of talent, innate talent. And I remember there was a friend of mine who once had a pillow that said, "Oh, Lord, give me a bastard with talent." And I thought, yeah, that pillow pretty much says it all.
John Riggins here on the Blitz. Again, Hunt Auctions, this game-worn jersey. It's been in a safe for years. You're going to auction it off. Now, I know the auction is happening here as we wrap up. Is there an online aspect of this?
Yes, at huntauctions.com. Thank you for asking, Jason.
So somebody that's
you can go there. You can look. They've got all. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it isn't just mine. There's some really the saddle that Secretariat wore to win the Belmont. You go to Hunt Auctions. You'll see it right there. It's part of the Jim Irsay, the former owner of the Colts in Indianapolis. It's somehow he ended up with it. So I'm telling you, Hunt Auctions got some really interesting items if you're a sports fan.
And this jersey just looks incredible.
No
John,
doubt.
This has been a pleasure, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
John.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. The great John Riggins here on the Blitz. That was very cool, wasn't it, Joe?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? That's unbelievable, being able to talk to John Riggins, a legend. I loved watching him play football. I was never a Washington Redskins fan, but I loved John Riggins. That's for sure, man. He was one of the tough guys.
You're very kind. Thank you guys again for having me.
Appreciate
yes,
you.
The
Great
sir.
John Riggins here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It is incredible when you look around and you see all the people that are coming around for John Riggins. We talked about this yesterday. Smokey across the way, David Smoke from our friends in Waco is trying to assault him as we speak. It's a little. It actually.
There's no humping of the leg, is there, Jason?
It's close.
Go get your picture, young man.
There, I've already done that.
Oh, you've already.
Yeah, we did that beforehand.
Well, that's good. Good planning there. Good planning there.
While you were doing Sports Center.
Okay. All right. Well, good.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see it right there. There it is.
Oh, very nice. All right.
And that jersey is actually pretty incredible looking. If you get it, I'll post these on social media. But very, very cool. I didn't know they were going to have the jersey here too. That's going to fetch a pretty penny, I imagine.
Dude, that jersey I would love to have that jersey. Are you kidding me? I mean, with the grass stains. Well, I'm sure I can't, but I'm just saying that jersey would be unbelievable with the grass stains and I don't know, maybe a little BO still in that thing. You know what I mean? I just like.
No, it's cool. I wouldn't want it, though. It's a Redskins jersey.
Dude, I would want it. I don't care what kind of fan you are. Are you kidding me? That dude's unbelievable. Unbelievable. We got a lot more to do, though. We are not done, man. I tell you what a day it has been on Radio Row out in San Francisco. Our big game coverage brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. And we're going to return to San Francisco. More good stuff. I can't wait to talk to Bonnie Jill. Bonnie Jill's coming up in a little bit. Guys, gather around. We will do that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind the scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the big game in Silicon Valley, and the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all of the pregame excitement leading up to the superb hour. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Flu season has arrived, and according to the CDC, doctors' visits due to flu symptoms are the highest in 30 years. You can trust Exergen's new TAT 2000C Plus to give you accurate and reliable temperature readings for the whole family with just a gentle forehead scan. The Exergen thermometer technology has been proven accurate by more than 100 published clinical studies. And right now, the new Exergen TAT 2000C Plus is available on Amazon for less than $20. That's Exergen, EXERGEN, on Amazon. Visit Amazon.com for Exergen today.
Score big with LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, the MVPs of the field. LS Tractors, the star quarterbacks of farming, perfect for tough tasks for farm, ranch, and landscaping. Dietz Tractors has your all-star coaching staff for top-notch equipment. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships with unmatched dealer support for parts and maintenance. It's a winning strategy that goes beyond the final whistle. Don't miss the game-winning move. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors. Start blue, stay blue at Dietz Tractor in Seguin.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Oh, like if I need a replacement part?
Sure, we can help with that.
Ah, nice. Hey, I just entered this online contest for coolest bike in the world. You think maybe you can vote for me?
Actually, we just do insurance, not popularity contests.
Yeah, I know. But what's your email? I'll just send you the link real quick. You can vote like 100 times a day. They'll never know.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
So what I'm hearing is there's a little bit of wiggle room.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions.
Hey, I got you something. What's this? Just a little Galentine's gift from Jewelry Television.
JTV, I love their jewelry. I had my eye on this pearl bracelet on JTV.com. Plus, I love their colored gemstone jewelry. And have you seen their gold?
Right now, take up to 70% off select jewelry and gifts at JTV.com.
You are not going to believe their gemstones and their artisan collections. Gorgeous.
Are you going to open your gift?
It's a pearl bracelet.
Visit JTV.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom.
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
we can be twinsies
to
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank NA, member FDIC.
Our AA Best Bell Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Back here on the Blitz, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. So happy you've decided to spend part of your Tuesday with us. We appreciate it. I'm Joe Reinagel here in San Antonio. Jason Minix, he's out in the Bay Area. Silicon Valley, San Francisco. Call it what you want. It's Radio Row because the Super Bowl is coming up. Jason.
Reinagel.
What's going on?
You know, a little bit of everything, and it's fun being out here on Radio Row, and you get to talk to legends, and then you get people. You know, like I just got a DM because we just talked to John Riggins. Dude, you didn't ask him about his mohawk back with the Jets.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I was alive when he was with the Jets, or at least I wasn't coherent in watching football. I barely remember that the dude played for the Jets. I know he told the story, and I know that's where he was originally drafted, but I just remember that dude as a Washington Redskin and some of his plays, especially against my Dallas Cowboys. And I don't give a damn about his mohawk. But, you know, it's interesting because listeners will, you know, it's like, dude, you want me to ask dude about his hair? I'm not doing that.
Well, and we get all that kind of advice on our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page as well, as you know. And some of those questions we can ask, some we cannot. Look, I don't remember him as a New York Jet either, even though I'm older than you. I don't remember those days. I do like the story he told about Joe Namath and how big that guy was. I mean, Joe Namath may have been one of the original NFL superstars. I mean, that guy, and I'm talking about not just on the field, but with the fans and in the streets and the parties and all of that stuff.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you think about Joe Namath and everything that he did, some of the magazine covers, and when he went to the Super Bowl III, absolutely. I mean, he was probably the first celebrity quarterback, or at least that I can remember. I mean, you know, I'll be 53 next week.
Damn, you're old.
I don't know.
Jeez.
I mean, well, how old are you? I know you're 10 years older. So, yeah, you know, whatever. I mean, age is mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
That's exactly right.
No matter what, I'll always be 12. But when you look at it and you think about, I mean, Joe Namath and the celebrity aspect of it. Now you look around at the NFL and like what we're doing here on Media Row. All the celebrities that these athletes are turning into celebrities that, you know, they just wanted to play. Now they're back like a John Riggins, just want to be an athlete. Now you're an athlete that correlates into being a celebrity.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, you can look at a Joe Burrow, for example, as one of those guys, maybe even a Baker Mayfield to some extent. I mean, there's others in the league that are that way. And then there's other guys that were kind of back in Joe Namath's day, or they act like that. They go play football and go home. A Dak Prescott comes to mind. I mean, I would seriously, although he's big and he's popular, I wouldn't consider Dak a celebrity quarterback. He's more of a, I'm going to do my job and I'm go home to my family. So there were a lot of those guys back in Joe Namath's days. And that's why I say I think Broadway Joe was one of those guys who just kind of stepped out. He enjoyed life and he enjoyed his celebrity.
Well, and again, there's you know, defining celebrity when you're doing all the commercials and you're recognized everywhere. All of that certainly is a level of celebrity. But there are those that, you know, they do it because they can get paid for it and they get paid a lot. So why not? And then there are others that seek the limelight, that are always doing stuff to keep their name out there. And so, yeah, it is interesting. And, you know, hearing John Riggins talk about the back in my day types. Now,
I love that about him.
Well, you know what he said on the radio, and I don't know if it made the radio or if Pledge hit the dump button or not.
It didn't make
it. It did or did not?
It did not.
It did not. Because I can tell you what he was saying after the interview as, he was taking pictures and we went to commercial break. None of that could have made the air.
No. Well, he was just talking about cats.
Yes,
That's all he was talking about.
Quit being yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, man.
And my daughter, who's out here with us, said, you guys said orgasm twice. What the hell are you talking about? Because, yeah. I mean, John Riggins, who knew? Hall of Fame interview.
Well, we can say that on the air. Orgasm.
Well, we can.
Sure.
We can. We can.
And depending on how you say it, you probably say the other thing that he said because you're talking about a cat.
Quit being a wussy. Absolutely. Well, and again, don't know that I had that part of the conversation on the bingo card when I was thinking that we would talk to John Riggins.
Well, I'm kind of sad now, Jason, because I've never received a standing ovation in the bedroom after an orgasm. I'm kind of sad about that.
Color me shocked.
Yeah. Damn. I just, you get to thinking about it. I'm like, damn. I tried. Somewhere along the way. Now let's be honest. Maybe not from the participant, but in your mind, there was a standing ovation for you. I know Joe Reiniger well enough that, at the end of every one, you're giving yourself a standing ovation, telling you how great that was and maybe even needed a cigarette. Well,
I love that camel.
I go in the bathroom, look in the mirror and go, damn, you were good. And so, yeah, I guess give yourself a standing O. Now, I don't know if Maggie feels that way, but, it doesn't really matter because, well, I thought I was good, and that's all that matters. So,
well, I have a pretty good rub.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, that was a lot of fun. No kidding. And that's the beauty of Radio Row, Jason. And you know that you've been to a million of them. Just the people you get to talk to that you probably never would otherwise. That just come to Radio Row. Either they're selling something, as John Riggins was, but he's doing it to raise money. And some other people that are out there, but it gives you the opportunity to pick the brain of a guy that was a legend back in the 70s and 80s, playing for teams, and nobody played or has played the way John Riggins played.
Well, and that's true. And again, we're fortunate that we get to have these conversations. What I'm always amazed by are the stories and the personalities. Because, long form radio and with what we're doing is so different than if you see a 2-minute package story on television and, or 15 seconds here, 18 seconds there, you kind of get an idea. I mean, John Riggins was doing some talk shows. He has a good personality, but I had no idea what stories he was going to tell or want to tell or, however that was. And that's always the fun, is just seeing where they go. Our conversation with Jason Fitz, and I've known Jason Fitz for several years now, before he got into radio when he wanted to. When I first met him was actually at a radio convention, and his band was playing there because they had a new hit record and the label was pushing them. And he knew that I was sports radio, and we were at the bar, and it was great. And I've seen him work his ass off. I don't know him well enough like any of that, but just watching from afar, his career take off. But our conversation earlier today on the Blitz was more about music than it was sports, which I found fascinating.
Well, so did I, because you just don't see that. I had a guy that is as talented as he is, that has had the success that he's had in music, all of a sudden just kind of give that up to do something he's always wanted to do, and that's to talk sports and be a sports radio host. And so I find that kind of cool. And again, you just look at that guy's resume and his life story. My goodness, he has done it all and seen it all. And he's still a young man. Who knows what life has in store for that guy?
Well, I mean, multi-talented, and but it's just kind of fascinating that his friend base are all the musicians, and that's how you get to know the athletes, and all the athletes know each other. All the sports talk show hosts, we all kind of know each other. Musicians, bands, they all kind of it's just weird, and so he's intermingled those circles, which is just fascinating how he's done it.
without a doubt. No question about it. Still a lot of surprises to come there on Radio Row as we continue our big game coverage thanks to AA Best Bail Bonds. We will do that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First of all, I want to brag a little bit about my Kinetico quality water softener. Can I do that? I love bragging about this thing. And you know why I brag is because it is one of the best things that I've put in my house. It really is. And I say that not only for me, because I love the way I feel when I get out of the shower. I love the way my clothes feel out of the washing machine. The dishes are cleaner out of the dishwasher, all of that stuff. But it's my wife, Maggie. She enjoys it as well for the same exact reasons. We have family over and they comment on it. It is just an amazing product. It is head and shoulders better than anything else I have ever had. That's why it is the most popular water softener on the market. And you owe it to yourself to treat yourself and your family. And not just that, while you're treating yourself, you're protecting all the appliances I just mentioned in your house because of the hard water that we have here in San Antonio and South Texas. Look, I love this thing because you don't plug it in. It runs on kinetic energy, and I don't know what that is. All I know is it works 24/7. Every single day, 24/7. I love it. And they still have this deal going on. It is a perfect time to call the fine folks at Kinetico because you're going to receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station that they're going to install right there at your kitchen sink. What does that mean for you? It means bottled water. You'll never have to buy it again because you have it right there at your kitchen sink, and 0% interest for 12 months. Free money is what that is for 12 months. You can't beat it. Great deal. Give them a call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at KineticoSA.com. And you know the jingle. Sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Kinetico.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More wall-to-wall coverage leading up to Sunday's big game continues next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Big Game Giveaway. Predict the exact score of the big game in Santa Clara, California, and you could score $50,000. Make your predictions now at sasportstar.com. The 50K Big Game Giveaway, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Score big with Dietz Tractor in Seguin and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073. 800-499-1073.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm going to make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Monday, March 30th at the Golf Club of Texas. Get your slot now. $150 per person or $500 per foursome. The Spring Golf Classic, benefiting fitting animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, is presented by Flight by Yingling, sponsored in part by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chunkla, and Ancira.com. The Spring Golf Classic, Monday, March 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com. Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Oh, it is a great week, is it not? Week leading up to the Super Bowl. Kind of bittersweet. It is the final NFL game of the season, but certainly is a big one, and hopefully we'll get a good game out of this thing. New England and Seattle will go toe-to-toe on Sunday afternoon. Looking forward to that. But in the lead up to that, well, it's all about Radio Row, and that's where Jason Minix is in San Francisco. He's out there. I'm manning the fort back here in San Antonio. I'm Joe Reinagle, and we're happy to have you along with us on this Tuesday afternoon.
Absolutely. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage brought to you by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. And I'm curious, Joe, granted, it's Tuesday, although it feels like I've already been out here for a week. Today's been a day. But, and you know what it's like.
Yeah,
like Groundhog Day, and I think actually it is Groundhog Day, isn't it? But when you look at it and you think about all last week, you were leaning Patriots.
Yeah.
And you're still saying you're leaning Patriots.
Yes,
but are you?
I am.
Or is it starting to shift a little bit?
Not at all. No. I have my reasons, and I think that the Patriots are going to surprise some people. Now, is it enough to win the game? But, you talked to Jason Fitz earlier, and he tell you the 17-point spread. I just don't see that being the case. New England, we've been talking a lot about Sam Darnold, Jason, getting respect. I think this Patriots team knows, because they're hearing it. You didn't play anybody. You got lucky. Easy path to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to be playing for a little respect as well.
Well, and again, it is always that way in the Super Bowl, especially when you look at, now granted, I've been to a lot of these, and the Patriots have been a part of many of them, but not in a while. I thought it was interesting this morning on television. I was hearing a clip from Tom Brady, who doesn't sound like he's rooting for the Patriots, and I kind of called BS on that because, he said he doesn't have a dog in the fight. Well, he owns the Raiders, but you don't spend that long with the organization and not have I don't know. I would think that he is rooting for the Patriots. Whether he says that or not is one thing. But at the same time, this group of Patriots, they've got to create their own legacy. In a lot of ways, like this group of the San Antonio Spurs. You know, we can talk about the legends and the 5 titles and all that, but when Wemby gets there, it's going to be a whole new era. Are we seeing the beginning of that for Vrabel and Drake May and this New England Patriots?
Well, I think so, because, I mean, look at it. Drake May's in his second year. He's got a lot of growing up to do and a lot of experience to be had. But what I like what New England did, they had some money to spend, and they went out and spend it. And that's what, you know, to me is frustrating about the Dallas Cowboys, and not saying that they have the same amount of money as the Patriots had, but the Patriots went all in. I don't think anybody expected them to get this far. I think that, you know, maybe next year or even the year after that, as you work and you develop this roster. But the fact that they got here as early as they did, I think says a lot. Number one, about Mike Vrabel, and number two, about the ownership there. We talk about Kraft not making the Hall of Fame, or doesn't appear that he's going to, but he went out, spent the money. They've improved this roster. To me, they've got one of the certainly a top 10 defense in the National Football League. It is underrated, I think, and they play well. And if the offense can do anything, then I think they're going to hold this game close. I really do.
Well, and again, I mean, you think about, you know, just obviously what we're doing on air, but what we do on air is what we do off air. We talk about the game, and, you know, it's been interesting that like some of the Boston friends that I have, and like Ted Johnson, Teddy Three Rings, who does a show now on a Boston station. I was talking to him earlier, and some of the concerns are the schedule and Drake May, if he's got to get into a high-scoring shootout. And I expect Seattle to be able to score. But will Drake May be able to compete? And, you know, and I find it interesting today, you know, with the Pro Bowl happening tonight, you know, when you start looking at New England's path to the Super Bowl, was it easy? I mean, they had to win who's in front of them. And again, I can't fault somebody for that, but you could say, are you battle tested? Are you ready to go? You know, all the stories today about C.J. Stroud declining a Pro Bowl invitation, right? Well, so did Justin Fields. And what I appreciate about them, and now it did let Shedeur Sanders into the Pro Bowl because that's called process of elimination. Somebody was going to say yes.
Well, and Joe Flacco, too, by the way. Don't forget about him.
But, I mean, CJ, he's not wanting to work on and get ready for next year. He looked at that and went, dude, I didn't earn it. I don't want to just be the next guy on the list to get invited. I respect that. But to think that he's just working on next year's game and trying to be better, I don't know. It's just bizarre because, you know, at the same time you hear that CJ did that, so did Justin Fields. Like, that dude had an option to be a Pro Bowl quarterback and said no.
He said no. It may be for the same reasons, you know, that he didn't want to be looked at that way. Because you remember when Shedeur Sanders was announced as a Pro Bowl replacement, I mean, everybody laughed. And it's like, oh, my gosh, are you kidding me? And look, this is not personal against Shedeur Sanders, but it is about the way he played this year. And it was not good, certainly not Pro Bowl worthy. So, you know, and you figure, I guess they have to have somebody. Now, I think Joe Burrow is playing in this thing and will start for the AFC tonight. I'm not sure, but I saw a tweet a minute ago with Burrow's jersey and his cleats there getting ready. So, I would assume he's going to start this thing. I just don't know how it is, and I have no desire to watch this thing. Jason, do you?
You say you have no desire. Well, the answer for me is no, and I'm going to a Super Bowl party tonight. So if it's on there, then I might see it. We're going to the Super Bowl party that's on the campus of EA Sports. Now, I don't know what the hell that means, but it says campus of EA Sports. I can only imagine how cool this is going to be, the setting for it. If they've got the game on, I'm sure we'll see it, but am I going to stop down and
you're going to be playing video games?
Watch? I don't know what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be drinking. I know that. But when you look at and you think about what is going on tonight, I don't like, if I were at home, would I watch this? Maybe. Do I have a desire to watch it? No. But if I'm flipping around finding what am I going to watch tonight, there is a little bit for me, and I don't want to speak for you, a curiosity of how this is going to look and work out, because we keep telling them, or everybody has said, you got to fix the Pro Bowl. It's stupid. All right. Well, they're doing something different this year. Maybe it actually does work. Maybe it will be kind of cool. Maybe it's just going to be a waste of time and you flip off and watch something else. But there is, to me, a little bit of a curiosity factor to see how this is going to work and look tonight, and the fact that they're doing it this week during Super Bowl week, which is very unusual for them.
It's flag football, Jason. How entertaining can it be?
Well, I mean, how many times have we watched the Pro Bowl and said, why don't we just put flags on them because nobody's hitting?
Well, that's true.
I mean, so in this part, I'm expecting, I was going to say good quarterback play, but I know who some of the quarterbacks are. But your wide receivers and your defensive backs, I mean, basically we're talking about 7-on-7 and flag. So some pretty impressive throws, some amazing catches, maneuvers. I don't know. There is a little bit of curiosity, at least on my part. Is it appointment television? No.
Well, in that case, I may watch a little bit of it, see if I get interested in it. If not, then I won't. But I don't know. It's not one of those things. And look, the NFL knows. That's why they're having it on a Tuesday night in a convention room. I mean, so even the NFL is not expecting high ratings. Although I will say the TV here in the studio on ESPN, and they've been pumping this thing up, obviously wanting people to watch this thing. But and I think you're right. I think a lot of people will tune in, Jason, just because of the reasons you gave, curiosity. And I think they want to see it. Now, will they stay after they tune in, or will they tune out right away?
That's going to be the $1 million question. Now, the other part of tonight that could be interesting, and I don't know what the format is going to be, but players mic'd up. Are they doing interviews during the game on the sideline? What kind of interesting things will be said? Because I know at the Pro Bowl practices, a lot of different things have already been said. And, these guys, they might be on different teams, but they're friends. That kind of stuff actually might be more entertaining than the actual game itself.
I don't think there's any question about that. And I think that will be the one thing that is interesting, because there'll be some trash talk. There'll be some friendly, fodder back and forth, I would assume, between players on the field. And then who knows what else you might have. I hope they have their dump button ready, though, because that could be interesting stuff, depending on who's out there and what they have to say. But it'll be interesting, and I will tune in for a little while and see if it holds my attention.
Again, we'll see. What I don't see is, and I'm at the convention center. Now, in the fan shop, they got a whole section of place, and granted, I haven't been there since Sunday, but a whole section of Pro Bowl gear. You know what? I haven't seen anybody wearing any of the Pro Bowl stuff that you could buy, which is kind of interesting, kind of comical.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, I think people might get laughed at if they're wearing that stuff.
Well, I mean, you get a shirt that says Pro Bowl. If you go to the Pro Bowl, it'd be kind of cool. I'm not going. I didn't buy it. But when they got it in there with all the Super Bowl stuff, it's the NFL's way to separate you from your money. Thinking a lot of people might try to double up, I suppose.
Well, I suppose. But no, I don't want a Pro Bowl shirt, if you were wondering. And I appreciate you picking me up a shirt there, Minix.
Yeah.
Pledge says he wants one, but that's a little expensive for Pledge. You get him another pencil?
A pen.
Oh, a pen.
Here's the thing. I have spent good money on James Pledger and Super Bowl gear. And the only thing I've ever seen him wear was this stupid hat that we got him at the Tundra Bowl there in Minnesota. One of those, I don't know what you call them, hats. That's the only thing I've ever seen him wear. I've bought him shirts. I've gotten them all, and he doesn't wear it. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I've never seen it, and this stuff is way too expensive for it not to be worn. So, if you want a T-shirt for $80, I'll go get you a Pro Bowl T-shirt, but you got to wear it.
Wow, and is that a gift?
No.
Well,
of course. And the other part is Pledge's fashion choices and mine aren't necessarily the same.
Well, Pledge's fashion choices than anybody else is not the same. He's one of a kind in that respect. There's no doubt, about that. That's for sure. So, look, I love the guests that we've had today, Jason, so far, and there's still more to come. It's just that's why we go to Radio Row, because of that. And you get to talk to people that you wouldn't normally get to talk to. The legends are the legends, and then the interesting stories that everybody has. And it's only going to get better as we go through the week. But I've got to be honest with you, as much as I like this, it's only Tuesday. I am so ready for this football game. I can't stand it. I really am ready. I don't know why I'm so excited for this football game, but I am. I'm geeked up about it, and I can't wait for Sunday.
It's the 2 weeks between, and we're trained. The NFL trains us that every Sunday we have a game. And then, which was weird, as a Cowboy fan, they had so many Thursday and Monday games. I mean, there was a stretch where I think in a month, they only played on one Sunday, and then bye weeks suck because we're trained every Sunday as a game. Well, the NFL screwed with our routine. They do it every year, having 2 weeks between the games. And I think that's probably why you're jonesing a little bit, sir. I think, there's some terminology for that, but that's what it is. I mean, they threw us out of the routine, your football addiction. You didn't get it. Now you've got the shakes because they're making you wait a little bit longer.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, there was nothing on this weekend. I did watch Spurs basketball this weekend, but, I mean, no offense to the Spurs, I'd have rather been watching an NFL game or on Saturday, which is when I was watching the Spurs game. They actually lost that game, but college football, something, and the football season just seems to go by so fast. So while I'm geeked up for the game, Jason, on Sunday and want it to get here, I really don't want it to get here because that's it for a while, and it's a sad time.
Well, although afterwards you really get into the Spurs, and of course the trade deadline coming up on Thursday, it will be interesting to see if the Spurs make a move. Some moves have already been made. I did see some video of Greg Popovich at practice today talking with Wemby and a bunch of the players, which is good to see. But, I like the fact that this Super Bowl will happen, and for the first time in 6-7 years, we have a basketball team to get excited about that will get us through the spring. The last several years, Super Bowl's over and the Spurs were at 15 wins, 18 wins, no chance at the playoffs and playing out the string. I like the fact that, on Monday after the Super Bowl, that the Spurs are going to be very relevant and very entertaining for the next several months.
Well, they're going to be very entertaining tomorrow night. The Oklahoma City Thunder come into town for a primetime game, late tip-off tomorrow, 8:30 against Oklahoma City. And the Spurs have owned the Thunder so far this year. Let's hope that continues tomorrow in front of the home folks there at the Frost Bank Center. That is going to be a lot of fun. Now, just a fair warning to everybody, if you're driving around San Antonio, you want to stop, and you want to go to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. And I promise you it will be worth your while. Bonnie Jill, I'm going to say Laflin. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Laflin. Okay, yeah. Bonnie Jill Laflin joins us next. She is a multi-talented, very shiny person. I'm just saying that right now. So get to our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. She'll join us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you're looking for TRT, you don't want to pay hundreds or settle for low-dose TRT. That's why you need to know about Synergenics and Low T Center, where they take most insurance plans and they customize each dose for maximum safe results. You don't want to compromise yourself. Synergenics and Low T Center have been highlighted for having the highest quality testosterone on the market. They only use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone, never compounded. You know exactly what is going in your body. And the T-test, it is free. All the providers at Synergenics and Low T Center are board-certified experts in their field. They're not some random chat bot or a provider that you'll never actually see. And not only that, they can help you with all your goals, not just your medical ones. They have a variety of peptides to help with healing, muscle tone, recovery, sleep, weight loss, even hair and skin quality. In fact, right now, you can get $50 off per vial for select peptides and GLP-1s. So book your free testosterone test and get discounted peptides and GLP-1s while you are there. Get started. Go to lowtcenter.com or Synergenics.com and book your free T-test today.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. You're locked on the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Hey, the big game is almost here, but every game is big when you play Prize Picks because it's so fun to be right. And when the big game comes around, I'm talking 2,000 times your money. But you got to remember something. That's the code Alamo. With $5, you can get $50 in free play when you go download the Prize Picks app. But when the big game hits, the specials are here, and we've got them. And I love Prize Picks because if my guy is winning, I can cash out early. That's one of the best things about Prize Picks is they take care of you from beginning to end. Prize Picks offers 2,000 times your cash. I've heard all different numbers, not 2,000 from other places. So when it comes down to the big game, and it could be that big game or any big game, Prize Picks makes it a big game. Download the app, use the code Alamo, and use some big free money to play the big game. Prize Picks, let me tell you how good it feels, because it feels so good to be right.
Folks, there's nothing romantic about home repairs, but when your plumbing has lost that love and feeling and your AC is about to achy break your heart, call Quarterman Plumbing, Heat, and AC at 210-651-5899. We'll fix the issue fast at a great price with a servant spirit.
Joel, this is a special Valentine gift from me to you.
Yeah, but why are your arms red?
I got a deal on this plant for your office.
That's poison ivy, Nigel.
It's what?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074E and 16004.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, we're about 48 hours away from the NBA trade deadline. It's coming up on Thursday. First big piece today. The Grizzlies parted ways with forward Jaren Jackson Jr. They send him to Utah for some players and 3 future first-round picks. And the NBA announced today that Victor Wembanyama has been named as the Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month. Second time Wemby has received that award since its inception during the 24-25 season.
Live from San Francisco, it's The Blitz, broadcasting from AA Best Bell Bonds Radio Row ahead of Sunday's game. Here's Jason Minix and Joe Reinagle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Back here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. So happy to have you along with us on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix is out in San Francisco with a very special guest.
Absolutely. Bonnie Jill Laflin joining us here, and this is where the jealousy begins for you, Joe Reinagle.
It really is. It really is. You get all the great assignments, Minix.
Joe, where are you? I know I heard there's restraining orders out here in San Francisco. That's why you couldn't be here. However, can we get that lifted for LA?
Yeah, well, yes, I hope so. I really hope so because I've got FOMO. I won't lie to you.
Oh yeah, I know. It's always like that. It's a week that like it's hard to explain unless you've been here. And Joe, you've been here before, so you know.
Yes.
But it's just a whirlwind, and then all of a sudden you get on a plane going home, and you're like, that just happened like so quickly.
Well, it's Tuesday, and it feels like we've been here a week. But today on a Tuesday it feels as busy as a normal Thursday during Super Bowl week.
It's crazy. Jason, you know this. It's normally not this busy on Tuesday. It's like actually buzzing, right? So it makes you wonder how the rest of the week's going to be. I mean, you could tell though everyone's already excited. And then you see like when you start to get like Thursday, you can see people have been partying. The mornings don't seem so happy anymore. So
I don't see mornings. I don't know.
But you see the morning show guys who are like not happy.
No, we've got one of those out there. 4 a.m. is what time his show starts. And so that's
that
brutal.
Is brutal.
That is
yes,
brutal.
Absolutely. But always happy to be on with y'all. So thank you for having me.
Now, Bonnie, I've known you for a long time.
Yes.
Now, you're legendary because you are a Cowboy cheerleader and you are a San Francisco 49er cheerleader.
Yes.
We won't hold that against you, but we are in San Francisco, right?
I know. So it's kind of nice to be back home in the Bay and just, it would have been nice, obviously, Jason, if the Niners were in it, but of course,
really.
a lot of injuries.
Cowboys.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know. I'm saying it for the Niners, San Francisco kind of feel but, the Cowboys, my poor Cowboys, it's just every year, and especially after Marshawn Nealon passed away and there was this whole okay, let's do it for Marshawn and then going 7-10. It just, what's going on? It's like every year I feel like I'm Jerry Jones. Every year I'm like, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We got the best team ever put on the field. We're one piece away from doing it all, the whole spiel. And it's just, it's frustrating, right?
Well, that's the Cowboys battle cry. Wait till next year.
Right.
And that's what we've kind of become used to. Honey, I got to ask you, because you are one busy person. I mean, my goodness, do you ever sleep? I mean, you have your hand in a little bit of everything, or certainly have had your hand in a little bit of everything. You just like to stay busy, I guess.
I do. I think it's just in my DNA, Joe. So it's like go, go, go. I had a pageant mom, you can only imagine. So at 2 years old, I had fake eyelashes and fake hair, like winking at like old men, like, you know what I mean? As a pageant girl. So I feel like it's like set the tone for me just to be in the limelight, you know what I mean? And just to be going after all my dreams. I have a bucket list of that I want to accomplish, and I don't have kids or, a husband. I've always said I'm married to the game, and that's been sacrifices of just, what kind of goes with the territory. And I just have this, I want to do it all kind of thing. And as a woman in sports, it's always very tough to kind of navigate through this. And so I try to mentor a lot of younger women, and just, that's why I wrote my book, was to just make sure that women know there's a space for them in the sports world.
Bonnie Jill Laflin joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. How many different TV shows and networks are you working for right now?
Oh my gosh, so many. And I like it that way because I do cover all sports. So, obviously I work for the Cowboys with the Dallas Cowboys, and then I work for covering the Mavericks, and then I work for MLB Network covering the Rangers. And so I do MMA, I do boxing, I do horse racing, I do rodeo. And so I literally do it all, but I kind of feel like I like pivoting, being able to do different sports. And in my career, I also feel like you have to have different layers and be able to pivot, because otherwise, if you just are one dimensional, then you're not going to work forever. And I feel like that's what's kept my longevity, is I can cover a lot of sports. And y'all know, doing sports talk, you can't just hammer in on one sport. You have to be able to do all the sports. And plus, I love it. You have to have a passion for it, and, we're not going to be rich, doing these jobs, but you love it as well, right?
Well, absolutely, and that's why you do it, even though you're not going to get rich doing these jobs, but you do it because you love it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, University of Texas, Bonnie, Miss Dallas Fort Worth, USA, and you said you had a pageant mom. Did you get into pageants very young?
2 years old.
Oh, wow.
2 years old, I was doing pageants. So I was destined to be, to be in that world. But it was good. It did, there's a lot of people say, well, that's too young, but I guess it just kind of molded me to who, I wanted to be and build my character. And so I just kept doing pageants and was a professional ballerina and dancer. And I really just wanted to combine sports and entertainment. And so that's when I started cheering and, in the NFL, NBA. And then from there, making sports, my life. And like I said, you don't really work when you work in sports. Yes, long hours, but so many people would love to be in our position and what we do and being here just on Media Row. So I never take that for granted.
Well, and you look at just the idea, my job is everybody else's hobby.
Yeah.
And you have found a unique niche because, you've got that interesting background, your passion for sports, broadcasting, you could do it. But you're hosting a barbecue competition this week.
Am.
Now, I was like, well, wait a minute. Now, are you hosting this or are you into barbecuing?
I'm into it. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. And so, barbecue is big in Texas, as we all know, nothing like Texas barbecue. So they came to me about doing this Hall of Fame barbecue battle where you've got it's going towards Gridiron Greats, which is a great charity. And we're having Hall of Famers, football player Hall of Famers. Then you got the Hall of Fame Pitmasters. So it's kind of like having this battle. We're doing it right here in Ramp SF, so looking over the Bay Bridge, and it's gorgeous. And I'm doing this other show, this barbecue show for American Country Network. So I love barbecue, and it's fun. Am I good at barbecuing? That's another question. I wouldn't say I'm great at that. I think I'm probably better grilling than I do in the kitchen. So
cooking outdoors is better.
I think it's a little bit easier and funner, and you can kind of inside the kitchen. Yeah, it's not great for me. I think outside I do better. At least if there's a fire, we can put it out. Outside, inside, it's which I've had the fire department come to my house twice because I've almost burned down my house trying to cook inside. So when I say that, I think I'm better barbecuer.
So what is your specialty, Bonnie?
I would say, I'm really gotten really good with steaks. Which is crazy about that because before, I was just chicken breasts, right? Or kebabs, you know what I mean? The vegetable kebabs with now I've gotten really good with all types of cuts of steak. And so I'm pretty proud of myself that I've gotten better with that. I still have when someone says medium rare, I'm still okay, how long? I still have to kind of cut it to see how long. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I gotta cheat, but I think I'm getting better.
Well, and what you got to do though is cook the temperature, not time.
I know
that's the key. But what do you have? What kind of grills do you have? Both Joe and I have Traegers, and I've got a couple other grills. I mean, what are you working with?
Yes, there? It's funny. I got Traegers.
Yeah,
because I did a thing with them, and then I feel Traegers are pretty easy to maneuver for someone like me, when I'm still finding my way. It's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people out there that make fun of the Traegers as an easy.
That's what they say. It's elementary, easy iPhone, but
is the end result great food? That's all that matters.
Exactly. So Traeger is what I have, and I but I also have now worked with these barbecue battles and stuff where they have the full blown these cookers and it's crazy. And so I feel now I'm kind of learned all the different things that you have to do to make the best barbecue steak, and but I'm still feel I have a ways to go because but that's what makes it great. I ask these pitmasters questions what's the best way to do this, or what's seasoning and all the different things. So I think I've learned a lot about that.
All right, Bonnie, I've got to ask you because look, Jason, I have to admit this, and I hate to do this, but he's a much better cook than I am when it comes to barbecue. When I get around these grill masters, or whatever you call them, with their huge, things that they pull around their grills, it amazes me how good these guys are. Are you the same way?
That I'm fascinated how good it is to me?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because they also make it look really easy.
Yes.
That's the thing where I struggle with, because I'm I wish I could cook with making it look easy. I look like a hot mess. You know what I mean? I'm pulling my hair back, trying to figure out and they have so many different things going on. I feel I multitask really well, Jason and Joe, but I feel with that, it's tough, right? When you have different meats and like you're trying to remember when to take certain things off, and they have like this finesse the way they flip and they like look all confident. I don't look confident. I look like I'm struggling.
Yes, I have a hard time believing you lack confidence in anything.
But with that, I look like I'm unsure. Does that make sense?
You just got to keep track of how many beers you've had, and that will determine your timing on.
Do you think you get better as you drink?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it's about.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
and so you start to feel more confident.
Yeah.
And,
and then you realize at the end it's going to be fine.
But like hamburgers and like hot dog, like I think that's. See, I'm not impressed by that. You got to be able to like cook some other like cuts for me to be like, okay, are you really like?
We just had a competition in my backyard with our producer, James Fletcher.
Really?
Yeah. He
How did that go?
Well, I mean, he failed miserably at a 72-ounce steak challenge.
Okay.
All right. But I was petrified cooking this 72-ounce steak.
Well, yeah.
Because you can't screw that up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad Pledge failed because the rest of us got to enjoy what was left of about 25 ounces or so, 30 ounces of that steak, which was really damn good.
And it turned out good.
Yeah.
And did Joe participate?
Absolutely, I did. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I was watching and supervising, but I did jump on the steak. It was like, yes, it was a lot of fun.
But you ate the steak, right?
Absolutely.
It was good.
You can't let that go to waste. That's just not right.
And there's something about barbecue, like the meat just tastes better. I don't. Do you agree?
Smoke.
Yeah.
Smoke.
The smokers that they use, and like, it's just better.
Well, that's it. Well, I mean, if you need judges for Friday, let me know.
No, I'm serious. We actually do. We actually are there. Like, we need 2 more judges, so we may have to talk.
We'll talk. Wow.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Now I really have FOMO. You see that?
Do you feel like you're a barbecue connoisseur in a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Wow, Joe, do you see the confidence here? He is not lacking any of that.
Oh, no, I'll tell people, I mean, something like this, absolutely.
And are you into the knives, too? Like, because it's special knives.
I've got some good knives.
Okay, well, because the knife thing is a big deal. Like, I've had people where they don't have good knives. Then it's like, it kills the whole, like, presentation.
Well, it depends on what you do have to have good knives.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you're doing your meat and it's tender enough, you don't need the sharpest
That's true.
knife,
You don't.
right?
It will just kind of slide.
Yeah.
And it's certain ones slide off the bone, and you're good.
Yeah,
right?
You're good. All right, Joe, you might be going solo on Friday. I might be busy.
I might
Sick.
get on a plane
Sorry.
and come out there on Friday, and so I can be a judge. How about that?
All of a sudden, Joe's in the house. Like, wait, where'd he come from?
Exactly. The restraining orders were lifted.
Yes.
That's worth a night in jail. It'd be okay. I'll eat some good food. Yes.
Hey, best bail bonds,
Well,
my
hopefully
friend.
I see you next year, Joe. Hopefully you'll be in LA.
Thank you so much.
Bonnie, appreciate
Okay,
you
bye.
stopping by.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Good stuff. Great stuff with Bonnie Jo Laflin. And again, follow her on all the socials because she's busy. It would take her an hour to tell us all the things going on. And even off the top of her head, I don't know if she could. She's got to look at it. Who am I working for, when and where, and going that different route. It's incredible.
She is the busiest person I think I've seen in a long, long time. That's for sure. It was great to have her on. But, hey, don't go away. The hits just keep on coming. We're going to talk some football, Cowboys football with Mother Football. Charean Williams, she joins us next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And, of course, on a Sunday, the best place to watch the big game is at the Roo Pub there at 281 and Redland Road. But I highly recommend you call and reserve a table. Send them a message on social media. You could do that. Spurs game coming up tomorrow. Of course, Wednesday is also steak night there at the Roo Pub at 281 and Redland Road. The best place to go watch any big game, any big event. And, the food is fantastic. They got the biggest and best wings in town, about 15 different burgers on the menu. I love the fried shrimp there. The appetizers, even the salads, I'm told, are wonderful. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant, the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind-the-scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars $50K Big Game Giveaway. Predict the exact score of the big game in Santa Clara, California, and you could score $50,000. Make your predictions now at sasportstar.com. The $50K Big Game Giveaway, brought to you by Dietz Tractor. Score big with Dietz Tractor in Seguin and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hello, this is Jason Thompson, and as you know, I've been practicing law here in San Antonio for more than 30 years, helping people and families injured in traffic collisions. So I'm often asked, what is the worst thing you can do after a traffic collision? And the answer is easy. That's trying to handle it on your own without an attorney. Insurance companies have spent billions perfecting their strategy of paying nothing or as little as they can get away with. It wouldn't be David versus Goliath. It would be David versus a million Goliaths. You have no chance. Using AI for help is even worse because AI routinely gives dangerously inaccurate legal advice. It is laughably bad on the law. So bad that a lawyer filing a document drafted by AI will likely be disbarred in Texas. Keep it simple. Just call me. My name is Jason Thompson. I'll give you a free review of your case with no obligation to hire me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400, or my website, alawyerforus.com. That's alawyerforus.com.
For decades, Rudy's Barbecue has been serving San Antonio incredible barbecue. They've also been a legacy community champion, and now it's no different. Every time you visit Rudy's Barbecue, you're invited to make a $10 donation to the Puppy Food Bank, and Rudy's will give you $15 in free barbecue on your next visit. So head on over to Rudy's Barbecue for a great meal and help the Puppy Food Bank support pet rescue shelters at the same time. This Rudy's Barbecue offer is a doggone good deal.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead? Guilty.
Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
The Gomez Law Firm is proud to be San Antonio's trusted personal injury law firm for the past 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us. Your firm has been fighting for the people of San Antonio since 1973. That's incredible.
There are not a lot of businesses that stick around for even 50 years, let alone personal injury law firms.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then turn to the law firm that will fight for you. Visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Order Smoky Mo's Texas Barbecue for your big game watch party. For a limited time, the rib pack is available just for the big game with 3 pounds of mouth-watering ribs and home-style sides of your choice. Feed your crowd with game day favorites. For 26 years, Smoky Mo's has created craft-level barbecue with great neighborhood value. Smoky Mo's is great Texas barbecue served fast and friendly with 8 convenient locations in San Antonio. Stop by or order Smoky Mo's for pickup or delivery at SmokyMo'sBBQ.com. sportstar.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is back. Round up your foursome, your work crew, your weekend golf buddies, even the ladies, and get ready for a fun, laid-back day at the Golf Club of Texas. Monday, March 30th. Lock in a team for just $500 for a foursome, or jump in solo for $150 per player and spend the day talking trash, crushing drives, and laughing your way around the course. This isn't a stuffy golf club tournament. It's golf the way it should be. The Spring Golf Classic benefits feeding animals at no-kill shelters across Texas, so you're having a great time for a great cause. Presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, and Ancira.com. And when the last putt drops, the day is just getting started. Join us for the after party at the 90 Proof Bar at Lucky Ranch Road and Highway 90. Cold drinks, great food, and all the post-round storytelling you can handle. So pick your tee, claim your spot, and tee up with San Antonio's Sports Star. Sign up your foursome now at sasportstar.com. Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Moe's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Now we're talking. That's good music, Pledge. Very well done. Very well done. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Thanks for spending some time with us on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm Joe Reinagle here in San Antonio. Jason Minix, well, he's out in San Francisco covering Radio Row for us out there. And, well, we got to talk a little football. No better person than the one you've got right there with you, Jason.
Absolutely. As we do every Tuesday, we talk with Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk. And once a year, we get you in person here on Radio Row. And Charean, funny, wasn't that long ago, about a week ago, we were talking about Bill Belichick not getting in. And today the reports are neither is Robert Kraft.
Yeah, I'm not as surprised that Robert didn't get in. Just the way it is set up now, as we talked about last week. You know, there's 5 finalists in that category, and you vote for 3, and the votes are spread around. And if Belichick didn't get in, my fear was that Kraft didn't get in either. I voted for both of them. And so at least one senior will get in. I think it'll probably be 2 now, based on what we know or what we think we know. We'll find out on Thursday. But I think 1 or 2 of the seniors get in. Last year, one of the seniors got in. Out of that, that's it. None of the others got in. Mike Holmgren didn't get in. I don't even remember who the contributor was. Didn't get in. So it was Sterling Sharp was the Lone Ranger out of that group last year. And there'll definitely be 1, but there may be 2 this year.
Charean, let me ask you a question, because Jason and I were talking about this earlier in the show when we talked about Robert Kraft not making it. When it comes to an owner of a team, I know Jerry's in. How does an owner get in? What are the criteria for a team owner to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, it has to be more off the field type stuff. Like, what did you do for the league? What did you do outside of that? And I thought he played a pivotal role in a lot of the things that the league has done, including, collective bargaining agreements to keep them playing football, and, TV deals. And he's just done a lot of different things, I think, outside the league that have led him to be the contributor candidate. But the problem is it's going to be now a while before he gets to come back around, because the contributor committee, I was on that committee for a while. They'll go to somebody else next year. They'll say Robert Kraft had his chance. They'll go to somebody next year, and then probably somebody the next year. Is Robert Kraft still going to be alive if and when he goes into Pro Football Hall of Fame? And that's what I hate, when these guys go in after they're dead and don't get to enjoy that and know that. You look at somebody like Ken Stabler. I always go back to Ken Stabler, getting in after he had died.
It is, because I'm with you. Get them in while they're alive. Let them enjoy that moment. A lot of talk last week with Belichick, and obviously today. Does the voting need to change? I don't know who's in charge of it, the Hall of Fame or, you guys as the voters, but does there need to be a change in the process? Is a flaw being really exposed in the voting process?
Well, it's up to the Hall of Fame. I mean, they set the rules and we abide by the rules, and that's it. And they listened to the Hall of Famers starting in 2020 when Deion Sanders came out, was adamant that too many guys are getting into the Hall of Fame and said, I want to reduce that down, make it harder. And they listened to others besides Deion Sanders and decided, you know what, they're right. We're going to listen to them. We're going to make it harder to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So it's really up to them. I think there's at least one more year. What they approved, I think there's one more year. And then they can probably decide. I mean, they can do anything they want to do. If there's such an outcry now and they decide we're totally changing the process and totally changing the voters, they may very well do that. I don't know how they're going to address this. They may not address it all. They may be satisfied when the class comes out that it's a great class and they can live with the results of this class. And I would think that Bill Belichick would go in next year. But yeah, I would like to see it change so it's not quite so hard to get in. We had a class of 4 last year. I think we're going to have a class of 4 or 5 this year. To me, I don't know what's wrong with having 5, 6, or 7. But this is what the Hall of Famers wanted, and this is what the Hall of Fame wants.
Well, that's interesting stuff, Charean. And I appreciate you being transparent about how you voted. I know that there's some of them have come out and said they didn't vote for Bill Belichick, and I appreciate that. Because I think, it just kind of makes it easier to understand where people are and what they do. I want to switch, if I can. Pro Bowls tonight, Charean. Did you know that?
I was aware of it only because I'm staying at the Pro Bowl Players Hotel. So I've been on the elevator with Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott last night, and Micah Parsons was doing his rehab down in the gym yesterday while I was working out. Let me just say he looks good doing his rehab. But I got to see that firsthand. So I did know it because of that. And when I left the hotel to walk over here to come here, the players and their families were everywhere. It was an adventure trying to, A, get out of the lobby, and then, B, try to get out of the driveway to make my way down here to walk down here.
That is, are you going tonight?
I am not going. I will not be watching either.
That makes 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can think of way better things to do.
Well, we've got the media party tonight on the campus of EA, which I think sounds like it could be interesting. But you did something last night that I didn't want to do either. You went to opening night for, 8 minutes?
Oh, I wasn't there long. I'm not going to lie about that. I went to the commissioner's press conference. And then after that, by the time I finished writing there, because it's such a long ride back, I did not want to take the ride back and then write once I got back hours later. So by the time I finished this, the Patriots had started their deal. So I walked across the hall, went in, saw it, walked around, chatted with some writers, and kind of walked out. So I did not see a whole lot of it. I listened to maybe 2 or 3 things. So 8 minutes may be fairly accurate.
That's plenty of time, no question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you listened to the commissioner yesterday, and one of the big things that came out of that was 9 games now overseas or in other countries. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's just the tip of the iceberg before it's all said and done?
Yeah, I mean, they have said openly that they want to go to, they being the NFL, to 18 games with every team playing a game internationally. That's where we're headed. That's what they want. Now, I was at the NFLPA thing today when the Players Association said we have no appetite for 18 games. The negotiations haven't started for this. This is not what we want. So it's going to be a battle probably, but eventually money usually wins out. And I think that the NFL is going to offer enough to make it worth the players' while to go to 18 games, which one game will be international for every single team every single year.
And with that, at least for now with the games next year, one will be in Mexico City. We know that Jerry does not necessarily want to give a home date for an international game, but he also wants to play in Mexico City. Is it 2+2 that the Cowboys are going to be in Mexico City?
Well, I saw Jed York saying that they are giving up a home game to go internationally. This is what he said yesterday. And in fact, I just wrote it, and that he wants to go to Mexico. Now, the Cowboys play the 49ers, but it's a Cowboys home game. So there is an NFL rule that went into effect in 2022 that once every 8 years you have to give up a home game. The Cowboys are the only team that has not complied with that rule. I would expect whether it's this year or another year, that they tell the Cowboys, you have to comply with this. You have to give up a home game. Having said all that, I'm not going to be surprised if that Cowboys 49ers game doesn't move to if Jed York wants to play there. But that is a big game. So maybe not. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that. But that is a big game with two good teams. So maybe they don't send those two teams to Mexico City. But neither here nor there, I would think that the Cowboys, if they're going to play one internationally, that they would want to go to Mexico City and not take one of those long road trips. But we all know Jerry loves long road trips and likes to go other places, as he does in training camp every year, because he likes being out in Southern California.
Well, I think Mexico's a no-brainer. I mean, the Cowboy fans that are here in Texas are huge. You go to Mexico, and there's nothing but Cowboy fans in Mexico.
Yeah.
I think it would just be a big-time party.
Well, and it makes a lot of sense for the Cowboys to go play there. And, you know, if I'm Jerry and I've got to play a game, and he said it in December, like, we'd like to go to Mexico City. Now, he didn't say whether that'd be a home game or an away game, and I'm sure he would rather it be an away game. But at some point, they got to give up a home game and do that. And it's got to be in a year when they have 9 home games. So it's this year or it's 2 years from now that they're going to have to give up a home game.
Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk here on the Blitz. Speaking of the Cowboys, obviously a lot of their offensive players are playing in whatever we're going to call tonight's Pro Bowl flag football game, including a receiver that is going to be the topic for the next several months in George Pickens. Dak Prescott said yesterday, if I got to get involved, I will. I'm not sure what he's actually going to do, but Pickens says he hasn't thought about it, which I don't believe either. But what do you expect to happen with Pickens, whether he gets a tag, a new contract, or becomes a free agent?
Well, he's not going to want to do a long-term deal before the tag deadline, because you have Nico Collins and Puka Nacua who could get new deals. And you know how they like to wait for each other. They don't want to be the first one to get that deal done and then base it on that. And he's made a case that he deserves more than CeeDee Lamb deserves. And if that's the case, if that's what he's asking for and looking for, then I don't think they can come to terms on a long-term deal. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be willing to pay him more than they pay CeeDee Lamb. So it's going to be interesting, but they definitely tag him and then kind of see where they are. And you can always trade him. You can tag him and trade him. Nothing says you can't. And maybe they don't get a deal done and somebody offers them a first-round draft pick or second-round draft pick to get it done, and they work on that deal. But I would like to see the Cowboys keep him for this season and beyond, because I think he helps their offense so much. He and CeeDee Lamb together are really hard to stop.
Well, not only that, I mean, he did show, as you mentioned, when CeeDee Lamb was hurt, he carried the load, and he showed that he is a number one wide receiver. And that's my fear, is that there's several teams out there that are looking for that number one guy. And I think there's going to be a lot of interest in George Pickens from around the league.
Yeah, but they're going to tag him. He'll never hit free agency this year. They have that tag to use. They're going to use the tag. If somebody wants to, the 49ers need a number one receiver, we all know. If they want to come give the Cowboys a first-round draft pick, I think the Cowboys might jump at that. I don't know. Maybe they don't want 3 first-round draft picks, but maybe they take a 2 this year and a 1 next year or something. You know, I don't know if anybody give up that much. But it'd have to be a sweetheart deal for them to move on from him, because they at least have him for this year under the terms of the franchise tag.
It's going to be a fascinating several months of the conversation. Charean, before we let you go, Super Bowl what for you?
31. I missed the COVID year. Everyone since the 49ers butt whipped the Chargers. That was my first one, 94 season. Monkey off the back, Steve Young.
Yeah, there you go. What's the best part of the week for you?
Well, I love the game. The whole week is good. I mean, it's just, I don't take it for granted. It's a blessing to be here. I just saw George Stewart, wide receivers coach, and we kind of started in the business, and he said, how many is this for you? You know, I said, well, it's my 32nd season. And he said, well, it's 38 for me. And we're talking about how fast that time flies, and it certainly does. You know, you just, boom, it's gone. And I still have a picture of Rick Cantu and Kirk Bowles and me, because I think it was their first Super Bowl as well. We're sitting in the press box together at that first Super Bowl in Miami, and to think, you know, this is number 31 is amazing. But they're all great. The week is great. The game is great, whether it's a great game or not. It's just truly incredible experience.
And who are you taking?
Oh, I think Seattle blows them out. I don't think it's going to be a close game.
Oh, my goodness.
Blows them out.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I think it's double digits. They make that Patriots defense may keep it close for a while. But I don't think this is the best team the Patriots have played by a mile and a half. And I just think Seattle's that much better. I think the NFC probably was that much better than the AFC this season.
All right. Wow.
Ryan Eagles on the Patriots.
I know. I'm thinking, man.
Wow.
Well, you're the second.
Okay.
You're the second person we've had today that is predicting a blowout. So I'm starting to rethink. I don't know.
Well, let me just say, I picked the Packers over the Ravens before the season starts, so don't listen to me. Take the opposite of whatever I say. So you're probably on the right track.
I don't know. We'll
I had
see.
the Bills and Rams, I think. Who knows?
Yeah.
Charean, enjoy the rest of the week. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, guys.
The great
Thank
Charean
you.
Williams here on Radio Row, where we get to see her in person next Tuesday. I'll be back on the phone, but it's always fun to see Mother Football live in the flesh.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's the beauty of Radio Row, is being able to do that and seeing her and all the guests that we've had today. It's been a great day, Jason, as far as that goes. The guest list today was fantastic. Tomorrow, even better.
We'll talk about it coming up.
Let's do that. We continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. More behind the scenes access is coming up next on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
Folks, there's nothing romantic about home repairs, but when your plumbing has lost that love and feeling and your AC is about to achy break your heart, call Quarterman Plumbing, Heat, and AC at 210-651-5899. We'll fix the issue fast at a great price with a servant spirit.
Joel, this is a special Valentine gift from me to you.
Yeah, but why are your arms red?
I got a deal on this plant for your office.
That's poison ivy, Nigel.
It's what?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number TACLA 141074E and 16004.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
For 100 days, I'm going to cross the 7 continents because the answers to everything important are out there at the edges of our world. I'm stepping in.
So I'm often asked, what is the worst thing you can do after a traffic collision? And the answer is easy. That's trying to handle it on your own without an attorney. Insurance companies have spent billions perfecting their strategy of paying nothing or as little as they can get away with. It wouldn't be David versus Goliath. It would be David versus a million Goliaths. You have no chance. Using AI for help is even worse because AI routinely gives dangerously inaccurate legal advice. It is laughably bad on the law. So bad that a lawyer filing a document drafted by AI will likely be disbarred in Texas. Keep it simple. Just call me. My name is Jason Thompson. I'll give you a free review of your case with no obligation to hire me. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or my website, alawyer4us.com. That's alawyer4us.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the big game in Silicon Valley, and the only local station bringing you exclusive wall-to-wall coverage from the Bay Area. All brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. We're live from Radio Row with insider interviews, breaking stories, and all the pregame excitement leading up to the superb Owl. From the biggest names in sports to behind-the-scenes access, we've got it all. Your AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. Your front row seat to the backstage action, live from the Bay Area, is 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by Smoky Mo's Barbecue and Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Tuesday afternoon here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Let's head back out to San Francisco where Jason Minnick's sitting there on Radio Row, and it's been a day, Jason, a very good one.
It has been a day, a good day, as they all are here after a great night last night here in San Francisco. And, you know, that's the fun of Super Bowl week. It's you don't really get a good night's sleep. You nap. And, you know, I think about Rob Thompson in the morning. We went to dinner last night and then went to a bar. There was a bar fight. Left that. We weren't involved in the bar fight. We just got to see it. Random stuff that just happens. And we dropped Rob off at the house around 10. And, you know, that's midnight San Antonio time.
Yeah.
Right? And he has called, he sets his Uber, orders it for 3 a.m. every day. He gets a good nap. That's about it. That's what you do. That's what you do here.
Well, that's good. It must not take long. You guys must be pretty close to the convention center. So he drops them off. He hooks things up, gets with AJ, and they start the show.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're about 20 minutes away. It might be a little faster for Rob in the morning, although every day, now granted, this is the third trip I've made, Sunday, Monday, and now Tuesday. Every day that trip has gotten longer and more roads have been closed as you get closer to the convention center. And the Uber drop spot is 3 blocks away. So there is a bit of a hike involved with the walk. And Rob said he doesn't have to deal with that in the morning because in the middle of the night, nobody's coming over here except for Rob. And he said there's one other radio station here when he's on the air at 4 a.m.
Does he have to turn the lights on in the convention center?
Apparently they're on, but he does have to wait for somebody to show up to make coffee because it's a union town and Rob can't make the coffee.
Oh, man. He's a grumpy dude when it comes to coffee. He's got to have it.
Now, by the time Rob left here today and was in an Uber, and we were in the Uber on the way here because our Uber today took forever to get here. Our Uber's name today, the Uber driver's name was Porn Pimple. But the getting down here was forever today. So I haven't actually seen Rob since we dropped him off at the house last night.
Wow. Interesting. You know, Jason, we've got the doc coming up, TSAOG, Orthopedics and Spine. Lindsey Vaughn today, it's got a horrible injury. You saw her taken off the hill, but she still plans to participate in the Olympics. She said this today.
I'm not letting this slip through my fingers. I'm going to do it. End of story. So I'm not letting myself go down that path. I'm not crying. My head is high. I'm standing tall, and I'm going to do my best. And whatever the result is, that's what it is. But you can never say I didn't try.
I'm not sure exactly how she's going to do that, but maybe a medical doctor, Jason, can help us with that.
Yeah, time for our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Let's welcome on the Buyers Barricades guest line, Dr. Casey Tabor. And Doc, you hear that from Lindsey Vaughn, and I admire the courage, but she has a completely ruptured ACL, yet still plans to participate in the Olympics. Is it even feasible?
There's very few people that's a feasible option for. It is very, very difficult to ski with a torn ACL. That is one of the sports. There's some sports that you can kind of participate without a ACL, but skiing is very, very difficult. The only guy that I've known that's done that is Brody Miller. If y'all remember him, he was the male. I think he was a mogul guy downhill. Had a great career skiing and in the Olympics and did well. She's a downhill. I mean, there's so much torque on the knee. I find it very difficult to believe that she would be able to compete at a high level. Honestly, I'd find it hard to believe for her to compete at any level with a torn ACL. So I don't know. Maybe she's speaking out of emotions. But from a orthopedic standpoint, I don't know that that's going to be possible for her.
Dr. Tabor, what would you do to try to stabilize that thing, in your opinion? I mean, I know it'd be difficult to do, but is there a way to try and stabilize that thing?
Yes, you can use braces. There's ACL braces, and we treat people with those all the time that either aren't suited for surgery or don't want to do surgery. But usually those are people that are lower impact, kind of weekend warriors, so to speak. They like to maybe play pickleball or do things like that, and some people can do okay with that. But you're talking about an elite athlete going, 80 miles an hour down a hill. I don't know that she's going to have the ability to, that brace will give her enough support. But that's what you would do, is brace her. She's got great strength. So, their quad strength plays a big role in their stability. So if there's anybody that could do it, it may be her, but I think it's going to be difficult for her for sure.
I mean, I'm sure NBC is thrilled, because we're all going to tune in and hold our breath, hoping that she doesn't hurt other things or hurt herself even more as she tumbles down the hill if it doesn't hold up. And then if she's successful, what a story. Now, completely ruptured. I hear torn ACL all the time. What does completely ruptured mean? Is that just another term for torn?
It's another term. It just means that it's torn through and through. Some people will get partial tears, but the majority of the time when an ACL is torn and or ruptured, it's just a full tear.
Wow. I tell you what, I'll give her an A for effort. That's for sure, if she indeed does do that. All right, Doc, we got the Super Bowl coming up, obviously, on Sunday. New England's quarterback, Drake May, they've been very quiet about a shoulder injury that he suffered in the AFC Championship game. It's on his throwing shoulder. He says he's going to be able to play without any problems. What kind of problems could there be? Mobility, something like that?
It's hard to say without full disclosure of the true injury, but most of the time, as long as there's not like rotator cuff injury, biceps is a common one. Sometimes it's just they land funny on their shoulder and they'll have an AC joint sprain, which is pretty common in football. Those, if you give them a couple weeks, a lot of times they're back to full normal. So you hold them on a throw count, don't let them overthrow. A lot of times we'll do a steroid shot. I would imagine, no matter even if it was the biceps or the labrum or the things that could be torn, he'll get a shot in his shoulder before the game, and he'll probably be fine. You might see maybe some mild loss of velocity, but for the most part, usually you can get back and play with those.
You know, Doc, is we think about all these different football injuries, and obviously around the Super Bowl, everything gets magnified. But there was this week. There's a story that I kind of find fascinating with a team that we're used to seeing in the Super Bowl that's not here this year, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Gardner Minshew tore his ACL, or at least that's what we were told. Now they're saying he didn't actually tear it, and he's fine. Did they misdiagnose it initially? I mean, how do you go from torn to, no, that actually wasn't torn?
Again, I don't know the details of the timetable of when they found it, but a lot of times what you do is you get an initial assessment on the field or when the injury occurs, which may clinically feel like it's loose, and then you confirm it with an MRI. And so if he had a late MRI, which sometimes they don't get those immediately, then you could say, okay, no, he's got no tear and just a bone bruise, which sounds like that's the case. The other thing is sometimes you'll get an MRI that maybe the slice that you get isn't perfect, and you think maybe there is something there, and you repeat the MRI, and the next MRI doesn't show it. That would be my guess. I don't know exactly because, again, they didn't really disclose exactly what tests were done and when they were done on the timing of it. So that would be my guess as to initially they felt like it was loose, but once they got the MRI and confirmed it, it did not show a tear.
Boy, interesting stuff, Doug. I don't know how you guys do it, but you come up with stuff and you patch us up so we can get back out there and do it again. It's interesting. Lindsey Vaughn's who I'm going to be watching, and I think everybody will now.
Yeah, I think with her, that, like you said, like you brought up, your risk with her is if she does take a spill when they're going that fast, they end up with other injuries. And so that's what I would be concerned with. So hopefully she can stabilize and get through it. She's obviously going to have to make some practice runs before, so they'll probably get a good feel for how she feels comfort-wise on the skis going down in the next few days, and we might get some additional information in the next 48 hours or so.
Dr. Casey Tabor, always appreciate the knowledge and insight. That's our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at tsaog.com. Dr. Tabor and all our guests on the phone on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online, buyersbarricades.com.
Very good stuff, but I tell you what, Jason, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big day here on the Blitz on 94.1. CeeDee Lamb is going to join us tomorrow.
CeeDee Lamb is going to be on the show tomorrow. A lot of Cowboys tomorrow.
Yes.
Ryan Flanoy is going to be on. Darren Woodson is going to be on. And last year we had Darren Woodson on. Here's a guy that should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago, in my opinion. Thought he was going to go in last year. We spent that entire interview talking about it, and he didn't make it. And then we find out he already knew he didn't make it. He's got a great poker face, which is why I guess he does so much with Choctaw Casino, because he's got a great poker face.
Yeah, no question about it. Ryan Leaf will join us as well, along with Jeff Garcia, former quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So that's a good lineup tomorrow. And then who else? You never know who might stop by, right?
Yeah, Laura Oakham, who is a national broadcaster, will be on the broadcast on Westwood One that you can listen to the Super Bowl on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. She's fascinating, not only as a broadcaster, but with this organization she has to help women in sports broadcasting galvanize, which is incredible.
And she's very good, too, by the way. For the record, she's very good. Well, that's going to wrap up day number 2 of our big game coverage, AA Best Bail Bonds. And, Jason, you go get some rest or go drink, get drunk, whatever it is you do on a Tuesday. At media party tonight, huh?
Yeah, on the EA Sports campus, which I'm kind of fascinated to go see what that place is like.
Well,
that will be a lot of fun. Stay tuned to these socials for some great videos and other things that we'll post from the party tonight.
Absolutely. Pledge, you got a show tonight? We got Extra Innings with James Pledger coming up next. Be sure to tune in bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. for the morning huddle. AJ and Rob, and then Jason and I will be back here at 2. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio row coverage live from San Francisco is brought to you in part by